Alright, can that work?
Yeah. Now I'm gonna. Okay, first of all, let me get this out of my ear. Okay, that's good. Now I'm gonna. Well, now I can get right. Now I'm gonna play this little thing. Which one is? I'm trying to remember which one was the rough.
I've been beyond in the pace to excel. With the ham, I'm going hammer like I'm beating a nail. Exotics got me in a tower like I'm ringing a bell. Feel like I gave these bitches power just like singing Adele. Before they call me coward and today I prevail. Hit them with slugs at they shells cause I'm lapping a snail. Rappers got bugs in their ears so you ought to beware. The guard is fraudulent and weird, the type is hard to compare. The moment honest is here, I'm dope regardless of shares. My roving garments are sheer, I shave a sheep of its hair. I got gear like I took a PED. Just some dust from my skins like some fucking PCP. Doing kung fu with my words, I'm like Bruce Kiki Lee. And now I am the plug, hit the fucking BBB. Heavy wood I jug, moving weights in kgs. I could double any pound, so can I eat my cake please? Chef like Bronson, but I rap like Raekwon son. Got a knack for misconduct, ain't a rap that could caught us. From smoking weed in apartments, blowing steam like a cauldron. Me and Ma about to spark one, Russian cream is so awesome. I'm getting blazed, I got the sauce so I'm a marinade. And the juice but not like lemonade. My voice is perfect, not a serenade. In the booth I'm going renegade. This is not a game.
It's one of the reasons I like to say that education is freedom work. It's freedom work.
All the shit is effortless, I was born malevolent. Straight up to the point like I was horned and I was devilish. Raised by some freedom fighters, so no I'm hella rebellish. My shit off the chain so I can show you where the pedal is. I don't ever settle, bitch. You could get the hands or you could get a grip. Show you how to fucking step but you can limp. Sorry I am such a dick, I never had no etiquette. It's cause I'm from the dirt and built myself like I'm the sediments. I don't take a break, I guess that rest is just for idiots. Time is mine today, I like it rough cause I'm the grittiest. My bitch is the prettiest, Dominican and brilliant. She wet like an amphibian, together we insidious. I'm hideous, but Ellie like to call me gorgeous. I'm on my bullshit like picking up after a Taurus. I never let go cause I was raised by foreign hoarders. It's like my flow's imported, a Porsche, my voice is hoarse. You need a verse, I am the source, a phantom ghost or I'm the sort of kinda guy to get it right or maybe just a dork. I can own all my vices imperfect, yet still I'm righteous. A raven or I'm a psychic Leviathan, I'm the nicest.
So look, you need to keep it in yourself, keep it real. You didn't play, you were yourself. You didn't go high, you didn't go low. You weren't trying to sound like anybody else. And that's exactly what this world needs right now. Don't settle by being like anybody else. Just be raw, be authentic, be like money. Strip that shit and be real. Alright?
Ha! Who could do it like me? People swear they got a flow, but that's just another stream. People swear they move the weight, but bitch, I break triple beams. Shooters like to take a shot, wishing they ballin' but brick. So now I'm pausing like click, don't gotta posit this shit. Cause I am positive, I am honest and quicker than Vicks. So pass the rock, so I can dash and run with the jewels. And fuck the ops, who target us and mark up the schools. Talk about education, but power's not educated. Like to tell us be patient, but waiting got us degraded. Teach us how to catch fish, but really we what the bait is. Innocent people are murdered, but you know about the latest. Point a finger at us, blaming our situation when they all isolated, complaining, living negated, hatred of us. Never negated, never eradicated, written in pages for ages, waiting to become outdated.
Authentic. Oh my God. Authentic. Authentic. Just remember the onion. Authentic onion. Big as an onion.
Tall like Paul Bunyan.
You have no idea what that is. I get freestyling all the time. All the time. Even
With me, I'm in another league. Me and D, bro. We just fucking let that heat flow on the piano. He is the maestro with the fucking beat. I am so low.
I'm at the bottom of the bucket, the top is where all the luck is. I'ma climb, old school like bustin' must get my prime. Wanna blow, taking this land, making it mine. Write my goals up in my notes and not a post in your timeline. I don't wanna be forgotten, I'm plotting to be a monster. I don't know what's in my noggin, the fog is blocking my conscience. I can't think no more, cognition turning to bitch and might roll one more. They want it but never pitching, everybody wanna hit it, especially when it's pearled. On my body is some linen that's cut from a different world. I ain't cloth, bitch, silk carpet, I'm an artist on parchment. Won't guard slip, I'm like God's kid, I'm locked in. Couldn't caught me if you walked in, mind boggling. I'm a bad boy, you like Martin, ain't sharpest. I carry them like a harness, ain't scared of adversaries, I'm serious and a marksman. I'm at the bottom of the bucket, the top is where all the luck is. I'ma climb, old school like bustin', must get my prime. Wanna blow, taking this land, making it mine. Write my goals up in my notes and not a post in your timeline. Move swing like a status, I've had enough with the status. Got new armor and a patent, a soldier, I'm like Gladys. But you could call me sir, I'm sure I'm on the surge. I don't rest but I'm assured, this turf is where I work, I don't rest but I'm assured, this turf is where I work,
It's one of the reasons I like to say that education is freedom work. It's freedom work.
We the musketeers, toting sticks like we switching gears. Got the cig with a grip, couldn't live a fear. With a pistol get you whipped, you a lick into something weird. Getting blunted with a summer spear. With my brothers cause we built a fam. Coming sharp and about to blow like we built a fan. I'm the shit on the commode, work remote, never break the code. I was in the home calling clone, time to make a plan. I arrived prepared, not a moment to waste. Might even dye my hair, hold those at the top awake. Cause I'm rolling with the scythe, gotta get it grim on my final limb. Last leg kinda caving in, but I'm with the musketeers, never man down. I was in the rear for a year making hand crowns. Now my shit gold, getting older, I'm the man now. That's just how it goes down the road, 100 grand pal. I'm the motherfucking man now. Talking shit to me, you better stand down. About the bars that I spit till I realize nobody gives a fuck about it. The only bars that they buy are the Zans. Only bars that I got can be written down in crayons. I be putting out the chaos, the shit be so archaic. I can't help it if I say it, just a rebel like I'm Leia. Music's made of layers, there's a fruity like some pears. Only care about the shares, I'm investing in these shares. Push me, it's a dare. To win, you'll need some prayers. The players cannot contest, I'm leading them like the mayor. I love my city, love the gritty. Give pity to those, my foes. I'll write prose for low, I propose the code. No whack shit, sick of rappers as actors. I'm the master, I don't need nobody collab with, I'm the answer. Keep my shit growing like cancer, y'all just prancing. Whack ass songs with stupid dances. Ooh, watch this. Keep it all in motion as the fucking clock ticks. While they all bugging whenever I come spit, cause they see the boys buzzing and it's so preposterous. Ooh, watch this. Keep it all in motion as the fucking clock ticks. While they all bugging whenever I come spit, cause they see the boys buzzing so it's so preposterous. Now you see the boys buzzing on production from my cousin. All that fuck shit isn't nothing. Finding the piece like a puzzle, I'm lost. Paid attention to every cost. Not to mention my ascension better than every boss on management. On a rush off the E like an ambulance. I can nail an EMC like I hammer dance. I am the man I've always been. Even when they talking shit, college pricks didn't notice him. Common sense is the flow within. Way back when wallets came to me with faith. Told me to astonish and blow other rappers away. Promised to do him honor, I'm sorta kinda ashamed. And now that homie is gone, I find it harder just to pray. How I got bills, can't find my wallets, hot wheels. Can't solve my problems, hot meals. And curry all the block ills occurring on me. Man, I miss my brother, swear to God can't lose another. Couldn't say deuce or nothing, watching time like it's the second coming. Welcome. I don't know if anybody can hear me.
They can hear you, Rebel.
They can hear me. All right. Welcome to the Real Colored Pages, the election night extravaganza. I'm Rebel Kazi.
Why do I need these?
What's up? I'm Jabbar, and this is Dylan. He's currently confused about the technology.
Yeah, I don't know stuff. I don't know stuff.
So this microphone picks up both of us. Y'all see how socially distant we are? Y'all see that? Where I put my mask at? Oh.
Honestly, that looks more like
Yeah, where did you put it?
2.5 to 3 feet, but it's okay.
Y'all see it? We're just excited to come before you and have this opportunity to share. I guess a quick word about why we're doing this. I think we all remember where we were a few years ago when we learned that, what's a nice way of calling him?
An orange terrorist?
Okay, well, we all learned that the orange terrorist would be president and how sad and depressed we all were. And I remember distinctly being alone. And I've resolved that that's probably not very healthy. So I thank Dylan for being so enthusiastic about this and Rebel for being reluctant but doing it anyway. So we could do this together.
I'm a team player. Don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise.
I know you're a team player, but it's a real credit to you that you have essentially allowed us to, or joined us in doing this. And we can all share in this whatever day.
Whatever it'll become, we'll see.
God will show us in due time. For now we know in part, but we shall surely know in full just exactly what is in store for us. So first and foremost, I think we all voted. Rebel, did you vote?
Yeah, of course. Oh my God, yeah.
Should we be impartial?
Nothing about me is impartial.
I think you kind of failed that test. We can't really zoom in because we got the camera. But what's that in the corner? Can you show the people over there what's in the corner?
Yes. This is very impartial sign.
Now, Dylan, are you a Democrat?
No.
Why did you vote for Biden?
Because there's no Republican running.
That's fair. Say that louder for the people.
Dylan, you're echoing.
Dylan, you're echoing?
Okay. I don't see why I need this. Because there's... Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's no Republican running. Because Donald Trump is a fraud who represents nothing about conservatism, and Joe Biden is a better option for anyone who's ever voted Republican and wants to continue to do so.
That's fair. All right. See, we come out firing out here. Rebel, who'd you vote for? Jill Stein?
Yeah, that goes without saying, man. Come on. Come on. I
hate entertaining this question, man. There's one person you can vote for. Somebody that respects a political process, and one that makes a whole ass out of it. So
but it's a real question, right? Because people are out here and they live in a completely different universe. And I don't mean that in a pejorative sense. I mean people truly see the world differently because of the, whatever you want to call it, the fragmentary nature of media consumption habits, and the way in which we interact with one another is more polarized than ever. You have a tendency to look at someone who thinks differently as an enemy. And there are people who are, I guess, in groupthink and group polarization, voting for Trump as a troll, more so than because they thoroughly reviewed what he said and done and stand in agreement with it. So, I mean, there are real people out there who would vote for Trump. And, I mean, I'm not laughing at you, but Dylan might.
A little bit.
I mean, there it is.
Those people tend not to
one of
believe in
those
science,
things, right?
And don't seem to mind all this social distancing nonsense
That's fair.
that we have been forced to endure with because a large percentage of the population just won't get on board.
Fair enough. What you say, Rebel?
All right, since we're going that direction with it, yeah, man, all you gotta do is wear a mask. Like, literally, that's basically all they're asking. That's the bare minimum they ask anybody, right?
And yet for so many people, it's too hard.
Man, I see people walking into 7-Eleven. I think the most irritated I got is actually when I saw like a little, like, this dude definitely had to be like an 8th grader or like 10th grader, some range in there. Going into 7-Eleven, no mask, like hooting and hollering. I'm sitting here like, I should have got a second mask. Like, come on.
I've seen people layer masks now.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed that too. Yeah. I've noticed that too. You get the comfy layer, like a nice solid layer here, and then the top one is kind of like fresh.
Right.
You could stylize with the mask. And see, that's what I'm saying. Like,
making the best out of a bad situation.
Exactly.
That makes sense. All right, so this is what I thought we'd do. First things first, I mean, we have results pouring in tonight. So before we get too far into it, I mean, there have been some states that were called, but for the large part, they were kind of obvious already. So, I mean, if you got to be put on blast because you thought Kentucky was going blue this year, I guess you got to be put on blast. So what I figured we'd do is we would share our screen of our 2020 Electoral College projection map. And if you can explain for us however long or however tersely as you'd like. And I'm going to shut up. And Dylan had the boldest one, so I want him to explain.
Well, I already feel bad about it because what I've learned is that the New York Times is now projecting that there is a 95% likelihood that Trump will carry Florida by 3%.
Oh,
so allow me to pull up my prediction.
Sure.
Let's see. So I took the most ambitious route here. Identifying the swing states as Ohio, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Texas, and assuming that Wisconsin and Michigan are a little more blue than warrant being called a swing state. Florida, Texas, Georgia, those are traditionally redder states than they are blue states, especially in the past 4 years. Florida being one of the only states to elect a Republican governor pretty handily when no one expected them to do so in 2018, and definitely on a rightward trend, whereas Texas and Georgia are on a far more democratic trend than Florida.
Yeah.
The most unusual state on this map, I think, is probably Arizona, a state that hasn't voted Republican since Democrat since 1996.
Georgia?
Arizona.
Arizona's 96, Georgia's 92.
Is Georgia okay? So, but I have Arizona as likely Democrat. All the polling seems to suggest that Joe Biden pretty much locked it up. I believe one of his campaign deputy managers said that they don't know what's going to happen, but they do know they're going to win Arizona. I'm inclined to agree. I do think, you have some of these southern states where you're going to have extremely heavy turnout. I mean, Texas matched their voter turnout from 2016 in a week ago?
Yeah.
Like they're beyond that, and that's just in early voting, and that doesn't even include people who voted today, which I'm imagining it was substantial. So, increasing turnout tends to favor new voters. It tends to suggest that there are people who weren't in the game last time, and I just find it hard to believe there are a lot of people who weren't inspired to vote for Trump in 2016 who are now coming out of the woodwork to do so. I suspect this is more so minorities who weren't excited by a Clinton presidency, as well as young voters who either were not able to vote in 2016 or were not interested in voting because Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton had a heavy rivalry. Whereas that does not seem to be the case with Joe Biden and Senator Sanders. And then you have North Carolina and Georgia, where I think those states are going to go to Biden based purely on the black vote. I mean, they are... Shout
out all the black people.
They're projected to...
Where y'all at? Sorry.
They're projected... Go, by all means. They're projected to exceed their voter turnout from 2008 and 2012. I mean, the Obama presidency excited the black turnout in a way that American politics has never seen before, and Hillary Clinton tried to recreate but failed rather spectacularly at.
Rebel, do you like Hillary Clinton?
Man, that year could have been a wrap. That year could have been a dub. You know that. That year could have, like, I hate counterfactual history just as much as the next person, but also actually people love counterfactual history. But for real, like, if Bernie were the candidate, it would have been a wrap. Like, we wouldn't be sitting here.
I mean, Hillary Clinton suffered quite a bit in the primary. Or Bernie Sanders suffered quite a bit in the primary because he couldn't connect with black voters. I mean, Hillary Clinton won.
Yeah, he also suffered quite a bit in the primary because of how the DNC was rigged. But
oh, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Y'all be nice.
I don't disagree he could have won. But I don't think it would have been because of black vote.
I mean,
I never said it was because of the black vote.
No, Dylan's point was that he had a hard time connecting with black voters, and because of that, he had a hard time winning the primary. Whereas your point is more of the establishment screwed it with the rules of the primaries, and I'm more sympathetic. Intellectually, it seems to be more likely the case that he had a hard time with black voters. But he did connect with this black voter. I like Bernie. I don't know. I just like Bernie. I don't necessarily agree with all that what Bernie has to say, but I think he's fundamentally a good man who's often misunderstood because he's kind of a grouch and he's kind of miserly and he's kind of, he's just standoffish figure in Washington politics. And it rubs people the wrong way. So it really hurts his ability to, number one, do anything of significance. So he doesn't really have much of a resume to run on. And number two, it does make him more likely to suffer the ire of the establishment, as Rebel, you intimated. So, I mean, I get it. And
he passed what, like 6 bills in his time in the Senate, and most of them were about renaming post offices.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's not a great record.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah, but you don't need a record to be president of the United States. So can we?
Well, that's true. And in 2016, we elected someone without a record, and it worked out real well.
President, come on.
Yeah.
I do think experience matters. And usually some sort of accomplishment is something.
Not in the American electoral mind. Maybe in your mind.
Not currently.
Apparently
not with a Donald Trump. Not with a Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I got, okay, before you continue, I want to bless God. We have some people who are in the chat. I want to remind everybody who's out there watching us. Please, please, please join us in the chat. Hit us up. They can comment whatever on the YouTube feed, or you can reach out to me, Dylan, Rebel, or whoever. We're going to do a call-in portion. We wilding out here, y'all. And I'll give you instructions as to how you can call in. But interact with us. This is a live stream. This isn't John King on CNN. So you can talk with us. I want to give a shout out to Rebel. To Shaw, who says that Kazi is right. Ha 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 ha. I think that's 4 hugs. You guys are still looking for people with experience. But let me give you this chance to roast the Shaw, because the Shaw is a Trump supporter. I'm just putting that out there.
Oh, poor Deshaw.
Just put that out there. Okay.
Rebel, you're welcome here. You're welcome to watch. You just might not be satisfied.
That's fair. But go ahead. You were finished with your bet.
The entire problem with the Trump approach to things really comes down to a rejection of education, intelligence, and experience. And embracing that and mocking people for looking for experienced candidates who, God forbid, know how to run a country, have had some relevant executive experience, understand how Washington works, and don't depend on the inability of Mike Pence to get anything done in the Senate and House, and go to a failed legislator and a failed governor to get information on how to run Washington. Well, I don't think that's laughable. I think the exact problem we're facing is that we have leadership who does not understand how things work. And to mock wanting people who have some relevant experience, as every other successful president did, is ridiculous.
What'd you say, Rebel?
Nah, keep going.
Yeah, I would encourage you, whoever you are, I don't know you, I would encourage you, would you want a doctor who's never performed surgery to conduct open heart surgery on you? Would you want a pilot who's never flown a plane? No, because you're a rational person, presumably. And you should want a president who understands how the government works and doesn't have to literally Google the night he's elected, what does the president do?
Okay, you want to hear his response?
Please.
His response is, you mean people who were there for a long time and didn't get what was needed done. They have no ability to talk people into things.
Ah, yes. Well, that really gets to the point of people who don't understand how the government works. We have a lot of Donald Trump supporters who will tell us that Joe Biden was in charge of the country for 8 years.
47 years.
Yes, and then we have this 47 years where he was just the puppet master of all members of Washington. The fact is, one senator alone can't really do a whole lot. But Congress can. And Joe Biden, unlike many other people who've run for president recently, has actually passed bills into law. He's actually affected society. And now, as to what happened during the Obama administration, I think people are way too critical on what Joe Biden did and did not do, because the vice president has very little power. And if you really want to tie what he did in those 8 years to what Obama did, that is a foolish argument. And anyone who understands how the government works is going to laugh at you. Because Joe Biden didn't accomplish anything because he was the vice president. The vice president is not supposed to accomplish anything. They are second in line, there as a spare, effectively, in case the president dies. That is their primary objective. And for 8 years, everyone in America was pretty satisfied with him. I never heard any of this stuff about how he was completely inept, how he had Alzheimer's, but at the same time is on some sort of magical drug that makes him brilliant. I mean, why is that neat?
All right, I think we're gonna move on to the next.
Complaining about that
from
2008 to 2016.
I think we're gonna move on to the next
No, I can't.
portion or whatever we're doing.
You know what? I don't mind the internet. Okay, I get it. Let me just throw this in, because I'm not. Again, that was between Dylan and Michelle, but Michelle, his last response was yes, but doctors don't have history of corruption. Politicians do.
Oh, I want to hear. What has Joe Biden done that's corrupt?
Dylan, slow your roll. All right,
I want to hear it.
I'm gonna chime in here.
Okay, go
and
ahead.
Dylan is 100% right. I actually had a friend who's watching right now send me a text saying, "You're right, Dylan. You're absolutely
cool.
right." But Nishal, if you're not gonna listen to what Dylan's saying, Think of it more in a foreign policy aspect, which is, again, the largest portion of the president's scope of power, right?
Right.
He looks like an ass. Like, it's as simple as that. And do you want an ass hat running your country? Also, you don't just talk people into getting things done in the government. Maybe a little bit, but you also got to know how to play the strings of power. So be it.
Sorry.
So be it. You have to be plugged in to do that. Think of it as in, like, I'm pretty sure we're all like young professionals here. Think of it in terms of like a LinkedIn, right? Like, it's gonna help you more to be kind of plugged in on LinkedIn than it's gonna than not being plugged in on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a kind of a bad analogy, but like young professionals and Trump-minded people who tend to have a really poppin' LinkedIn. And like, that's like, I wish my LinkedIn was popping like that.
And Rebel, I suspect they wouldn't conduct themselves in remotely the way that the people at the top have been doing.
No.
I seriously doubt they would, be going out on social media and
Oh,
making
I
appropriate
gotta
comments
stop
in
you.
that way.
Shout out Sam. What's up? Sam from Cornwall. I know my British accent's awful, but he wanted to shout
We have
out.
an international audience.
Oh yeah, we do. My Brits love me, and I love the Brits. I'm coming to join you if this doesn't go well. But go ahead, dude.
Oh, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can only converse so much with people who don't want to listen.
Oh, bless your heart. Bless the name of the Lord. Well, okay. I'll let Rebel go. Do you have your 20? Or
yeah, I'm not gonna harp much time on my map that much.
Take as much time as you need.
I'm basically gonna show it, and you're gonna see what I'm thinking in my head.
Gotcha.
All right. Give me a second.
Also, while you're doing that, can we figure out what the hell's going on in Ohio?
I'm looking into it.
Why the fuck is Joe Biden? Joe Biden is currently up by around 10 percentage points.
Yep.
In
and
Ohio.
You're going to see this in my. All right.
Well, we gotta remember early voting comes in first.
Here's my map.
Yeah.
I am largely pessimistic about this election. 2016 was a really shitty, crummy year where I had a bad feeling going into election day of how it would go, and it went that way, and the things changed forever then, right? Now I see a chance for a dub, but I also see the likelihood of a loss. And yeah.
Fair enough.
So, Rebel, I just have a very, very specific question.
Sure. I'm probably
looking at all these. Well, I assume Illinois is not a toss-up.
We'll see what happens. I just have a feeling. I don't know.
That's a hot take. But Maine, why doesn't Donald Trump win the 2nd district?
I didn't go that deep in. I did this right before the. I did this like right before.
That's fair.
I also don't care about Maine politics.
Does anyone?
That's true.
Exactly. It's
I
like
don't think anyone does.
for their name Maine, but they're like the secondary to like everything, tertiary.
Yeah, until everyone needs that one electoral vote to avoid a tie.
Yeah, they're relevant every 4 years.
That's right. They hope so.
But yeah, no, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now. I really don't. I don't care too much to talk about the electoral map until things are clear. Honestly, turnout makes a real big difference. And turnout's exactly like what we were talking about. It's way higher because of the whole mail-in and then the early voting now. And just like how in 2016, like it kind of surpassed everybody's expectations about how the American political process works. This is just as crazier. This is a crazier moment. And so I hate speculating. I'm not great at it. I haven't even won a game of bingo in my whole life. All right. Let alone an electoral map. So we'll see what happens.
Whoever TCS, I don't know who that is. Forgive me. TCS 2H1. I don't know Rebel, but his map it's kind of weird. Illinois is swing state.
Oh yeah, facts. I did this like right before this, so like I might have done that without even thinking. And you know what? It's fine. It's fucking 2020. You're gonna tell me a swing state is like a crazy bet? Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Whole year's been a curveball. Nah, disregard my map. If
I just learned we have a live YouTube chat.
Huh?
I just learned we have live
Yeah,
YouTube
we
comment.
got people in
That's
there,
what
B.
we've been doing the whole time. That's why you and
Okay.
Michelle are beefing.
This is my first time.
This is Tom Spivey. Shout out, brother Tom.
Tom Spivey, he's my long ago history teacher.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Tom.
Well, good to see you. I'm glad that you caught up with Dylan and you were able to join in. We appreciate you for that. All right, I'm going to go ahead.
No,
Let's
but
see.
turnout, it has largely to do with turnout, though, for real. And in mail-in voting, that's going to make such a huge difference in anything.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
That's really the message of this election, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Well, that, but also, like, we don't know to what degree of a difference it's going to make. And it's going to be, like, a different influence everywhere. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it is interesting watching how each state approaches mail-in voting. I mean, you have a state like Pennsylvania that is routinely called the most important state by both the Republicans and the Democrats, and they have a significantly lower interest in mail-in voting and early voting than, say, Michigan and Wisconsin, even though they all tend to get lumped together. So, but even in COVID, despite the fact they've been more hesitant to it historically, they have embraced it a lot more than they have ever before. I'm not really sure that I'm not familiar with any example of any state that isn't seeing at least consistent, if not record or among record highs within their states for turnout for early voting. So, I mean, no matter what side of the aisle you're on or what you want to happen tonight, that's a good thing.
Yeah. No, I think that's right. I mean, I just shared my electoral map. So I am famously like weirdly good with tech while also being hysterically bad at it. It's very weird. Like I produce most of our episodes. I'll edit till the cows come home.
It's all him. Are you kidding me? I'm not touching any of that.
But I tried to do like the Bishop Bullwinkle projection, right, of what my map was going to look like. And I fucked up twice because I kept hitting the wrong button on the 270. So
big fingers.
This hand to God is the final projection. Okay, and I'm going to explain a few key states, and this might be an effective segue. Obviously, I think Virginia, our home state, I think it's safe to say Biden's going to win that.
I would not say that would be safe to say.
Well, I mean, last poll I saw, the real clear politics average has Biden up somewhere between +8 or +12. Like it's pretty sizable. Shout out to my main man Nebraska, who may or may not be watching. Nathan Davis.
I'm 20.
I'm 20. Nebraska ought to know something about I'm 20. I don't even think
He was so mad he didn't put that blue line.
Oh, he was very mad, and he called me out. So I put the blue line in there for Nebraska 2nd District. Maine and Nebraska are the only states. Fun fact for you guys: only states in the United States who award their electoral votes according to congressional district. Keep in mind that states have a broad grant of constitutional power as to how they decide to dispatch their presidential electors.
And an important addendum to that,
Yeah.
those two states award the popular vote overall with the 2 votes representing the senators in those states.
Right.
So there's an overall vote and a district vote.
Right. So, different states do it differently. So this whole winner-take-all system is not necessarily a given. The fact that we even get to vote for president at all, to be real with y'all, that's not even a given. So it's based on the Electoral College, and then the states decide how to allocate those votes. But okay, my big shockers for people, and I might get at it. I see you, Nebraska. Shout out Nebraska. He's in the chat. He is president accounted for. Good to see you, bud.
How's it going, Nathan?
Dylan says, "What's up?" So, two, I guess, surprises, so to speak. Arizona, Maricopa County. We're going to keep an eye out on that. I want you all to put a pin in Arizona and Maricopa County. I will show you at some point throughout this whole stream that Arizona is one of those swing states whose ballots have to be in by tonight. So that means that they're going to be counting. They have been counting, if my memory serves correctly, for a few days, all the mail-in ballots that they received because of the coronavirus. So we're going to get a good idea of how Arizona falls, okay? We're going to get a good idea of how Georgia falls for that same reason. Georgia and Arizona. I believe if Joe Biden wins Georgia, Arizona, just mathematically speaking, Trump's inroads mathematically into the 270 majority of the Electoral College votes are cut in half, if not outright eliminated. I wasn't as bullish as Dylan was to give Biden Florida. Like, it's Florida. Like, whenever you need a Democrat to win Florida, just go ahead and check it off in the other person's comment.
I'm new to this rooting for the Democrat thing.
Yeah, that's all right. He used to being able to count on Florida. I'm used to expecting Florida to fuck up. And I guess
Florida's a typical L.
Pretty much. So I'm cool with that. So, but the big difference is North Carolina outside of Arizona and Georgia being a flip for me. I think the black vote in Georgia and North Carolina, as Dylan has touched on already, could be the deciding vote there. I believe that with turnout numbers as high as they've been, Joe Biden can pull it off. And even now, as I see on CNN, they're reporting 53-45% in favor of Biden in North Carolina, with 66% reporting. Keep in mind, Donald Trump comes into this race needing to win basically every state he won in 2016. Plus maybe minus a red state historically.
And I think what's important there too is that North Carolina was a state that Obama was not able to win twice.
Right.
That it was one of the few states Romney flipped. I think the other was Indiana.
Right.
And that surprised no one.
Yeah.
But if you have Joe Biden able to flip North Carolina, it's probably not because of the white vote. Mm-hmm. And that would probably cement in my eyes these predictions that the black vote is going to be higher than it's ever been in history.
Right.
Which would likely carry across the South.
Right.
And maybe you see some repercussions there. I mean, I think you see it in Georgia or in Atlanta, but maybe you see it as far as in Mississippi with the Senate race with Mike Espy.
Yeah.
Where he barely lost to Cynthia Hyde-Smith in 2018, 2019. Mm-hmm. Maybe that pushes him into a position where it's a little more competitive than we expect.
Yeah. No, that's spot on. Dylan knows more about the Senate races than any of us put together. So I refer to him on that. But what he said in regards to the black vote, I think is absolutely spot on. The high turnout, the fact that Mitt Romney was able to flip this district, but not by too much, really points to a downturn in excitement that, frankly, the odiousness of this president, to put it nicely, has been able to gin back up again. So black people coming out, y'all, we here and we vote. Okay, so
they're saying that the early vote's expected to be 75% of the North Carolina vote as well.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And that's
insane. So that's a testament to the point about turnout.
And keep in mind, I think, again, I'm going to reiterate, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, these are all states that Trump won in 2016. If he loses 1-2 of these states, it's tough. It's going to be hard for him. And the best part about all these states is we should have an idea of where those states will lean by the end of the night.
I mean, I would go as far as to say that other than Arizona, I do think Trump can win without Arizona. I think the Trump campaign if the Biden campaign is accepted, they're going to win Arizona. I think the Republicans have probably accepted they're going to lose Arizona.
Yeah.
But there's a clear
Yeah,
path
but
to
that means
270
they're gonna
without.
have to make up. They're gonna have to make up for that.
Well, not really. They don't need to make up because if you look at the Trump map from 2016, I mean,
Yeah.
they're working with pretty good wiggle room, particularly if they do carry Florida. So Arizona is the 11 electoral votes they can afford to lose because I think Trump ended up with what 306, so he has about 36
Florida looks
votes
like
of
it's
wiggle
a
room.
map right now too, as well.
Yeah.
They have 91% of the vote in, or over 90.
But I do agree that if he loses North Carolina, Georgia, or Florida, I think that's probably where the rest of the country's headed.
Right.
I mean, those are pretty red states for a president running with such a what would call themselves conservative base to lose. I mean, he's very popular among Southern white voters, and if they're outnumbered,
historically though,
that's
there
pretty
is in North Carolina as well. Like at least there was like historically a strong like activist mentality down there amongst like black students. And so, with the early voting and young students as well.
I'm gonna take down my wall in a second, but I got a shout out. I've got somebody else in the chat. I want to give God praise for Brother Wayner Alves, my childhood buddy. He told me, quote, I'm gonna read it to y'all. This is how we grew up. We grew up in church. It's gonna be good. Jabbar, lift your hands and receive. We go grab and go. It's 2021. We claim it in Jesus' name. We need a dub, y'all.
Kubita Hande.
You shot up a Hyundai. You could have come into the Hyundai. So there you go. All right. So and obviously the last part of this bet is I think Biden's going to hold the blue wall. Like I think, Dylan's one of the best explainers of this. Period. Trump won the blue wall by such a narrow margin that can be explained by a bunch of random factors, but most notably, obviously, the lack of excitement. There's not a deficit of excitement this time around. People have made up their mind. They're very clearly intent on voting, on making their voice heard. I don't think Trump's going to be able to make lightning strike Trump twice for him this time around. And that basically, between that and him losing some states that he really needs to hold on to, that means a Biden victory.
Right. And I think
that's actually why I put a bunch of things as toss-ups on my map as well. And I probably could have even put a few more. But that's part of the reason I put those up as toss-ups as well, because he has further ostracized himself from the core of the Republican Party. You know what I mean? So even areas that are very strongly Republican, there still could be that sentiment of like Dylan has. Like there's not a Republican running, there's a fraud running, and so yeah, exactly. Where he didn't lock it down in the first place, has he probably locked it down since? I
mean, I think what we have to remember is that when we talk so far, I mean, we've talked about Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, and Florida, which are all states Joe Biden does not have to win. They are states that in most elections, you'd three of them for sure, you would assume would go to the Republican. I mean, 10 years ago, those wouldn't have even been swing states.
Right.
You have Florida, which historically seems to favor Republicans. But Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and what Trump would like to argue includes Minnesota. I think we've become so used to, or maybe numb to it, that Donald Trump won those states that we forget how shocking that was. I mean, the blue wall was the blue wall for a reason.
Right.
And those margins that he won by were so razor thin, he can't afford to lose anyone.
Right.
And I don't think there are a lot of people out there, at least a lot of rational people, who think that Donald Trump has done a good job of building the tent of the Republican Party and bringing more people onto the Trump train, into the MAGA movement. I think at best he has held steady, and I think most likely he's lost people. If you look at those numbers, you can attribute that to so many different reasons. You can attribute it to the fact that Hillary Clinton didn't bother going to those states. She went to Michigan, I think, once, Pennsylvania a handful of times, and she never even visited Wisconsin after getting the nomination. it's hard not to feel ignored when you are literally ignored. Joe Biden hasn't done that. He's been in those states consistently, as has Kamala Harris. But I think you can look at these numbers where you're talking about 30, 40,000 votes in states of millions of people. And you can attribute it to basic things like the weather or the fact that Hillary Clinton was a woman.
Yeah.
I don't think it's unreasonable to think that Hillary Clinton lost a fraction of a percent of the vote due to sexism. I mean, I don't think that's crazy. That's frankly, I'd expect it to be more.
Yeah, I expect a pretty large margin for that, and especially in generally more centrist, conservative-leaning areas, I expect that sentiment to be even higher. It's like you had a quote on like Trump supporters see Trump as a man's man. You know what I mean? Versus a woman, it's like in that dichotomy, that sexist type of framework of thinking just takes life.
Right. And so already running as a man, I think Joe Biden has an advantage that
I agree.
didn't have. And
especially with centrists.
And with some of these more conservative Democrats who just weren't comfortable electing a woman.
There's still that whole sentiment that the Biden campaign has wholeheartedly co-opted like the more radical left. And that Kamala Harris is a socialist communist. I think at some point we're going to have to address how fucking stupid that is. But
those are people who've never met a communist or read about a communist or read the definition of communist.
I want to give a shout out to my boy Sam Blakely, who just slayed me with his comment. So,
what he said.
Good to see you. He just said, we sound mighty liberal tonight. And I want to give God praise for my boy Sam Blakely. He's tuning in.
Hey, Sam, shit ain't changed, man. Shit ain't changed.
He said shit ain't changed.
So,
when things aren't right, I go left.
Nishal?
Yeah, Nishal.
So I'm curious to know who Nishal thinks that Trump has added to his, let's call it a base. A base,
an umbrella.
I think an umbrella, yeah. Who's been invited into the tent?
To some degree, Nishal is bringing out what I'm talking about is how there are a lot of more centrist people and just, I guess, more conservative leading people that don't necessarily like Trump, but they have this really wrong notion in the head that the Biden-Harris campaign has totally co-opted the radical left, and they haven't at all. And also, even if they did right now, that doesn't speak for when they become president. So
can I speak to the supposed radicalization of the Democratic Party? Because I like to view myself as disillusioned from the Democratic Party because I do have a number of qualms. Most of them I'll concede are petty with how the party conducts itself. But we have to remember, they had a choice and a chance to pick the more liberal candidate, and they emphatically renounced it. And that's one of the reasons why I got angry. I was mad that they picked the less liberal of the candidates. When Joe Biden was asked, do you support Medicare for all? He said no. When asked, what if the Congress passed it anyway? He said he would veto it. This is not the nominee of a party that's been radicalized to the far left that is now in danger of losing the
Jabari, I don't want to interrupt you, but we have that classic argument in the comments about how the left is okay with burning down cities, and they want to see.
I think he's trolling. I'm not even going to address that.
Okay, all right. Well, no, I'm going to address that. I'm going to address that. I'm going to address that in where we're recording in Richmond, Virginia. When the majority of the looting and the fires were started in Richmond, Virginia, the Richmond Police Department had come out saying that it were white nationalists that were instigating these and starting them and then tagging it with Black Lives Matter and whatnot after. So let's get that straight. All right. I know I'm just talking about Richmond, but Richmond is a great.
It's happened everywhere. Remember, the FBI has routinely said since the 2000s.
And, I just have a two-pronged question for that individual. One, where have you been when Philadelphia Eagles fans burned Philadelphia to the ground because their football team won the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl.
And to that second point, where were you when 2 days ago a Trump parade drove down Monument Avenue with their pickup trucks and their American flags for the country they love, but the people they hate, and shot people and maced people from their car and drove people down in the median of a road? You know, you can cherry pick instances of violence from a few streets in a few cities across the country and tell me that one side of the country wants to see America burn. But as far as I can tell, when the conservatives, or the people who call themselves conservatives, but let's be clear, are not, go out and burn down their own cities because, I don't know, a black person got rights, a gay person got rights. Where are you complaining about that? Because I don't see the outrage from the far right that is so mad when black people are denied their rights, but when nothing has happened to the white people, they're going out and burning shit down anyway. So maybe have some accountability for yourself and apply your so-called principles a little more evenly.
All right, Dylan, I'm gonna need you to start drinking water, my man.
No.
Jabari,
take a glass. Jabari, take
Dylan's good. I've known Dylan for years. He's good. Okay.
Take that glass.
I will say though, I want to figure out what's going on in Ohio, because Ohio continues to. Right now, it's up to 11 percentage points with 50% of the vote in. They got a lot of votes, I guess, from Columbus. They have some votes, it looks like, from Cleveland in. I don't know exactly. Dylan's been on that for a while. We want to keep tabs on that because Ohio looked ruby red coming into this election. And it's very weird how it's taking this long, because usually, you count. Sometimes you'll count the early votes in first, and you'll see the Democrats start out with this lead, and it'll dwindle down until he starts losing or she starts losing. We're waiting for that to happen in Ohio, and it hasn't happened yet. So that's something that we have to keep tabs on.
I mean, Clinton didn't even contest it really.
Right. And Biden hasn't contested it this year at all. And if we keep talking about how important it is for Trump to keep all, if not most, of the swing states he won in 2016. If he lost Ohio, I would argue that that would have just as much of a devastating impact as losing Florida, even though obviously Florida has more electoral votes. It's just when you lose a state like that, your path to 270 starts to narrow a little bit. But I want to ask a more general question because Dylan keeps talking about this, and I want to get everybody's involvement in because I had this talk actually with Sam. Shout out Sam Blakely again. God bless you. What is conservatism to you? And, I want to use a word to describe this iteration of the Trump party. I wouldn't even call it the Republican Party. I'll call it the Trump party. I want to use a word that starts with F. But, some people are going to be offended when I say that. But, there's that, what we're fighting against. And then there's conservatism, which I believe we need. We need a balance of liberal and conservative values. How do we define conservatism?
I'll give you the short answer.
All right. The question is, how are you asking? How do we define it, or how has conservatism?
Well, I think. Well, you can do like the whole classical conservatism, classical republicanism, historical interpretation, and I think we'd all have the same answer.
Fuck that. I'm just saying, like today's. Are you asking like what's the current state of conservatism today? Like,
no, because conservatism has been co-opted by a person who does not represent any definition of it. I mean, you can call yourself whatever the hell you like, but if you're not going to actually adhere to any principles that are identifiable as falling into that category, you're not that thing. I mean, I can call myself a liberal and then go, slash the richest taxes and cut spending and go to war with whoever I like, but that doesn't make me a liberal if I say it. I mean, that's what Trump is doing. He's saying he's a conservative, despite having a record of not being one and a record after getting elected of also not being one. So to your question, I would define conservatism as limited government, which I think has been horribly adhered to. Low spending. I mean, that's just not happening at all. This president has spent more money than any president in one term ever.
Yeah.
And just respect for basic human dignity and basic rights. And you don't see any of that. And conservatism is not this scary
Basic rights
thing.
or basic white?
You know, you have a lot of people. You have a lot of people
Really,
who,
Rebel? He said basic rights. Go ahead.
well, we can disagree on that, but you know, I have felt that there are a lot of people who have co-opted conservatism to just weaponize their own opinions. But traditional conservatism says that you should, by and large, be left alone when it comes to your life. And I agree that Republicans have not done a good job of doing that. But I think Donald Trump has done a significantly worse job of doing that. I mean, I'm not familiar with any other president in American history who was okay with forced hysterectomies on women in illegal detention centers.
Well,
I mean, that to me is a flagrant violation of Fourth Amendment rights and a flagrant violation of basic conservative principles. So, you know, you want a small government that's not too intrusive. You want fiscal responsibility, and you want people to just be as left alone as reasonably possible while still maintaining a strong, safe nation. Those are very basic principles, all of which seem to have disappeared.
go ahead, Rebel. What were you gonna say? I have. Wait. No, I have a guest. You guys ready for this guest? Let me let him in. Rebel, this is a surprise to you. I hope he has his video feed on.
Oh, Saeed's here. Yo.
I have to go down and let Melissa in.
What's up, Saeed?
I can't hear you. Tell him to unmute himself.
Unmute yourself, Saeed.
I can't
You
hear
need the
him.
change your microphone settings.
Let me see. I don't think he doesn't even have a microphone next to his icon. But that's okay.
You have to like allow the microphone. You know?
Did I? I thought I allowed him in. Well, let me see. Let me click more. Ask to start video. I'll do that. I want to give a shout out to Brother Nebraska who's asking Deshaun why is this guy so mad? I don't know why he's mad. While we're trying to figure out what's going on with Saeed, I want to address Deshaun because Deshaun commented recently on one of my Facebook posts, and I like engaging people. I don't want people to feel like I'm ignoring them or that I'm running from them because I don't run from nobody. Look, like Deshaun's big thing on Trump seems to be protectionism. You can see it in the chat here, protectionism. And protectionism does have its place. There's a difference between implementing some sort of protective trade policy, which does some sort of good in the way of protecting, as the title would suggest, domestic industry by putting in place some sort of tariff or some sort of restriction on the importation of goods that would compete with American businesses. And you can go through and that's a whole chunk of game theory is to figure out at what point you want to go tit for tat with a foreign entity, which is also playing the same game with you, trying to protect their industries from your, I guess in that case, would be exports. But the way Donald Trump did it and how haphazard, with very little planning, by the way, was to the point where taxpayer money had to be spent to bail out farmers who bore the brunt of retaliatory tariffs. We had to we took a hit in manufacturing to a certain extent, and we really haven't really seen the recovery that he's promised of these jobs that are frankly, antiquated.
They're not back. There's a recovery of something that's already out of use.
Yeah, exactly. So this is Deshaun thinks we gaslight, but that's the honest opinion. And surprise,
Parker, what do you expect? Come on, it's our podcast.
Yeah, I mean, New York has just been projected in favor of surprise Joe Biden. So if you're keeping tallies at home, Dylan just went to go let somebody into our little private setup here. Don't be alarmed. But just to keep you guys abreast of what's going on with results, New York State has just been projected into surprise, surprise, the Joe Biden column. Give a shout out to our creative director who I wrote the I guess, quote unquote, the sheet music for our theme song, but he was the one who put it all together. My brother, my man, Rebel cousin, brother Deepro, he's in our YouTube
Bro's
chat.
in
Give a
here.
shout out
Yo,
to him.
Deepro, join the Zoom real quick.
So yeah, we'll let you. Did we figure out what's going on with Saeed? Because he did text.
Saeed, now you should unmute yourself because you're connected to the audio.
Oh, he's connected now. Okay, we'll have Melissa. We'll have Saeed come in. We'll have Melissa's here if y'all want to see Melissa.
Other people will be
Okay. Okay. We'll get Saeed in. We gotta get Deepro in. I'm gonna text Deepro. I'm gonna invite Deepro into our thing.
I'm just here to watch, man. I'm just here to listen. You guys.
You just here to listen? Well, it's good to see you, bro. Say hello to the people.
Absolutely. Good to see you guys. You guys are looking good.
I wanna hear what you have to say, Saeed.
I mean, what do you want to hear? What thoughts you
yeah,
looking at?
and hey, all right, I want to get back into the chat. Nebraska, you're 100% right. We're already globalized, cat's out of the bag. Sometimes I feel like the type of conservatism that Donald Trump is trying to represent is one that's just out of context. Like he's not trying to add any context to it. Like you should recognize the fact that this is like we have a service sector dominated economy, and those types of industrial jobs are not going to come back.
Right. Right. Exactly. And
it's
that's
just
intensified.
It's just as simple as that.
And it's intensified by things like climate change. We're making a shift now from traditionally more dirty, lower, quote unquote, I hate this term, but low skilled labor in the form of like coal mining to more high tech jobs, to more green energy jobs that require more education, that pose more barriers to entry for people who want to go into that side of the labor market. And it presents a sort of a technical term being a structural unemployment issue where there had not been before.
And that's the whole, like, I think that's both campaigns, I guess, not even just largely, it's both campaigns' attempt of trying to make sense of it, right? Whereas a lot of the people voting for Biden are concerned about education at whole. And that includes higher education, that also includes public education, but then that also includes trade, right? Trade skills, which is also under the scope of education, which is if we're looking to fix the employment issues, the structural unemployment you're talking about, right? We need to help create a workforce that is more conducive to the current context, rather than trying to bring back industries that won't come back here.
Right. You're absolutely right. I mean, that's why you have, proponents of the Green New Deal arguing exactly that in favor of that policy.
And see, that's where, let's go back to real quick to what, like, we're talking about the meanings of conservatism. And the thing is, all right, if Trump were really, really conservative, he wouldn't have even responded at all to the coronavirus. All right. Like, let's be real. Hoover didn't do shit about the Great Depression. He actually just gave money to rich people and then they just held on to it and didn't create any jobs with it. Yet another example of the failures of trickle-down economics. But let's get into it.
I kind of perceive that as a little bit of a cynical reading of conservatism, to be honest, because I do have a place in my heart for conservatism.
But it's exactly what Nebraska's saying, man. The world's globalized, things change, small government. We need to reshape the scale to which we're talking about small government. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but That's fair. But, I don't even go to the small government route per se. Like, it's not so much the size of the government as it is its tendency to intervene into our everyday lives, right? And I guess, one would presume that there's a one-to-one correlation, but there really isn't. Like, there are 2.3 federal employees. I really don't deal with any of them on a regular basis. Maybe when I file taxes and call the IRS and yell at the fact that I never got my Trump check. But
I got one.
Whatever. Like, I'm still pissed at you that you fucking got one and I never got a Trump check.
Hey, we're not getting into that because I'm heated.
Okay, I hear that. But my point being is that size of the government, it seems to be an important variable in freedoms. But the most, I think, freedom itself can be, in a way, extracted from size of government. And that the most important thing, the conservative argument, is to me, is that people
Hey,
be
make sure
left.
you let Depro in.
Oh, is he coming in?
Yeah, he said he was.
Okay, let me finish this point, and then we're going to see what Deepro's up to. But I think the most important thing to me for the conservative argument is that people be left alone because people, as a collective, have a tendency to educate one another in an almost Aristotelian fashion. And I know y'all don't want to hear about philosophy rants today, but I mean, it's for real. Like, people come together in this weird sort of Adam Smith way of, we have an impact on one another and moralizing and socializing one another in a way that's so organic and so niche, yet so poignant that the government itself can't always dictate from top down how we respond to crises, how we respond to the emergencies of the day. And conservatism, to me, is about harnessing or encouraging that kind of private action, and in particular, that kind of cooperation and virtuous living that makes us more well-suited to adapt to our everyday lives. And that kind of thinking is indispensable at a time like this, where we've already talked about, Rebel, the moral rot of our country. We're meaner, we're more selfish, we're stupider, and we're proud of it. And we need that kind of bolstering of individualism for the sake of a better collective, for the sake of a better, more cooperative society that works together more organically without government interference to get things done. I just preached. I just said a mouthful.
So I think before we move on
Yes.
to whatever we're going to talk about, I think we should go over an election update
Sure.
for what we're actually here to talk about.
Sure.
So I'm looking through some different feeds, and the consistency seems to be that a lot of states are closed now. It's 9 o'clock, and so you're having Texas and Pennsylvania and Ohio and Michigan and North Carolina all completely closed. North Carolina seems to be a lot tighter than the Republicans have been projecting.
Right.
So that's one to keep an eye on. Republicans are reporting that they are not happy with the current results, that they're not looking at it as a loss, but that they are no longer looking at it as a win.
Well, because it's not.
And then in Texas, it's looking like Williamson County and Harris County, which is where Houston is, and Dallas County, which obviously is where Dallas is. Joe Biden is significantly outperforming Clinton's numbers there, which I doubt is surprising. I mean,
but that's a really bad sign for Trump.
It's a bad sign that the polling is probably more accurate than they would have liked it to be, that Joe Biden is in fact running ahead of Hillary Clinton. I mean, I think Trump won in 2016 by maybe like 8 points, somewhere in that range. That's probably not going to happen for him this time. So if Texas is going to be something we're going to talk about for a while, that's a bad sign for what they would like to avoid. But I think the most interesting note, and it's what I was telling Melissa, who just came in, that in Pennsylvania, the Democrats are very encouraged by the early voting results because registered Democrats cast over 1 million more early votes than Republicans.
Yeah.
That's a big margin. And you're talking about a state where Donald Trump won by, I think, 70,000 votes.
Yeah. That was
And
very close.
the Democrats have a pre-election day in a traditionally blue state lead of over 1 million votes. That's pretty substantial.
Right. So between the increased voter turnout by a lot in Harris County, in Dallas County, the early voting numbers, that Texas prediction, how's that looking?
There's not a lot in from Texas as well as predictions at the moment. I mean, right now we have Biden up 0.6% with 65% of the vote reported. I'm not seeing a lot in the way of predictions, but what I do know is that absentee votes were 50% for Biden, 48.6% for Trump. So that's a pretty tight margin. And if Joe Biden is still leading, when you include the votes that actually have been counted in person, it's got to be pretty tight at that point. I mean, you're talking about a state that had almost everyone who voted in 2016 voted early. And if Joe Biden's winning that much of the vote without having really gotten to today's vote, that's pretty substantial.
Yeah.
Texas, obviously, you have to look at it as a state that is going to lean Republican no matter how you look at it.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about where we live. Let's talk about where we live.
Oh, Virginia's going blue, B. You know that.
Virginia's going blue, but I'm talking about our county.
Henrico County.
Henrico County is looking pretty red right now, but I don't think we've counted. I don't think we've counted early votes yet.
Early votes, and you gotta think about East End. East End. Do we have updates on Spanberger?
I'm gonna get that right now.
Thank you. And we're gonna keep an eye out for those people who are watching. God bless you. We're gonna keep an eye out on Texas. We're looking at North Carolina. That margin is still really big in favor of Biden with 77% of the vote in. So we're looking at that. We're looking at Ohio again, for some reason, by the grace of God, I guess. Joe Biden is winning by a pretty big margin in Ohio with around 50 to 60% of that vote in. And that is, by far outperforming.
Yeah, Guardian says 60%, and then so does New York Times, actually.
Yeah, so
which is actually why I put it as a toss-up, man. I told you. That's like a tradition.
That's fair.
It's a more traditionally Republican state, but it's to what Dylan was saying. Trump is not a genuine conservative. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
So right now, from the New York Times, we have Nick Freitas with this isn't terribly instructive, but we have Nick Freitas with 60% to Abigail Spanberger with 40, with 43% reporting.
Yeah, so that's probably going to be counting East End.
I mean, yeah, we're looking at basically everything having reported except for the areas around Richmond.
Yeah, so yeah.
But it's looking good for Freitas. I gotta say that.
I genuinely believe Freitas ran a very aggressive campaign.
Yes, he did.
An incredibly aggressive campaign. And I'm not going to knock Spanberger's campaign in the area because I keep my eye on our local more than anything else. But Spanberger didn't seem to run as an aggressive defensive campaign. Nick Freitas was very much on the attack and did so shockingly with a lot of might.
All right.
And I'm going to have to fact check this to confirm this. But I have 99% of the precincts reporting for Richmond's mayor.
Really?
LeVar Stoney with 33.5. Kim Gray with 28.5.
Wow. Okay.
Alexis Rogers with 22.5.
Wow. And what's the
I don't have the breakdown of for those who don't know, in Richmond we have an electoral college-like system where you have to win a majority in a majority of the city districts. If that doesn't happen, it goes to a runoff.
Yeah.
Right now we have our mayor LeVar Stoney running for re-election. LeVar Stoney famously was the one who took down the Monument Avenue statues. Led to he ended up with widespread dislike among the police and widespread dislike among the protesters and those party supporters. So he's running a tough re-election campaign against a city councilwoman named Kim Gray,
who's also run a really aggressive campaign.
Yes, she has. and a local activist named Alexis Rogers, who really came out of nowhere and in the past couple of months has really risen to prominence. It looks like she's probably out of the running, but she made a significant impact here. And if
on
this
pulling
is in fact what we're
votes
looking
away
at,
from Stoney for sure.
yeah, I mean, if that's in fact what we're looking at, who Alexis Rogers endorses could decide the next mayor of Richmond.
There you go. Hey, that's pretty big news. I wanna give a shout out. Go ahead, Deeper. I want to see that face. Turn your camera on for me. What's up, Deepro? Turn on that mic.
What's going on, y'all?
I want you two to talk about, now some of you all, a handful of you all were in the little waiting room for our stream and they saw the tail end of the, pants on fire scramble we were doing leading up to this. And they heard the music of this album that you all have been working on. So why don't you tell the people a little bit about that? I'm going to run to the bathroom because I am still a human being and not a robot.
Amen.
Amen.
So yeah, me and Rubel here, we've been working on an album for the past 4 years now. Like, we haven't been actively working on it for the past 4 years, but like just the music has sort of come together just, I guess, while we've both been in college. So I'm really excited to put this out with him. And I don't know, I've never had to really talk about our album, so what do you have to say, Bill?
It really has been over the course of the past 4 years. I don't think what like a lot of people realize is that sometimes your creative process is going through the process of not creating, but crafting, which is a little bit different, like honing in your craft. But that's basically what we've done over the past 4 years. And especially Deepro. Like, what's wild is this is his third album, basically, because we're releasing it together. I rapped over all of it, and then Deepro produced everything largely, and I would say I co-produced some things, but like to a very lesser degree, like a fraction. And then we both executive produced it together, so it's real fun. But no, this is it. So it's his third one. It's my first one. You know what I mean?
Is it my third?
Sorry, I thought I was muted.
No, go ahead, guys.
No, you're good. Let's see. Yeah, I dropped one album initially, back in 2019 in January, and then that got actually re-released through this local record label called Citrus City, and they're amazing. It's all run by this guy named Manny. He's incredible. He puts so much work into just like getting local musicians the platform they need to be heard, and like I deeply respect that. But anyways, aside from shouting out that after working on that album, I've been working on like a follow-up to that, and I've pretty much had that finished over quarantine, and I'm just waiting for that to be released. But I guess while I've been waiting on that, I've really been digging back into this work with me and Rubel, and we've been like really like accelerating our output with this stuff, and we have like 12 or 13 tracks just ready to go, and we might even add we're still debating on adding like a few more on top of that. But I really like, because we've been making music for so long, and it just feels like nothing has really come together until like the past few months. And it feels like we finally have like a cohesive 12, 13 track album. And I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, cohesive is definitely the word. And that's definitely been my trouble with it, because I feel like I want to try too hard in making something cohesive, hence the 4 years. But I guess as as we kind of just let time fly and let life kind of fly through, a lot of things have happened that have changed like both of our lives real significantly. So we just kind of use that, and like I guess the door was open, and like we accelerated the process to where like it's just we made something meaningful that we're real proud of, that talks about one kind of, it's sort of a coming of self, but then it's also a coming of like it, or it's very like reflection based, and me internalizing a lot of the things surrounding me. And then Deep Row obviously does an incredible job producing everything and creating like he creates the cohesive sound, like making it sound perfect.
And your boy got a shout out on one of them.
Yeah.
I was just putting that together today. Actually, it sounds pretty dope. I'm really happy.
I'm glad.
Thank you so much for adding to that. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. In all seriousness, I'm really proud of the music that y'all put out, the project, the work. I know it's hard. Sometimes you may not get the feedback that you want, that you need, the encouragement to keep going. But it's a really good project. I'm happy for you guys. I'm proud of you. It's good to see you, Deep Row, especially because I haven't seen you in a minute. I hope you're doing well. Good. I want to cut in just for a second. Want to remind everybody that we just got a projection. This is a very insular one. It looks like, if you all remember, if you are in the state of Virginia, most of you are, we had 2 referenda on the ballot. Yep. One of them, Amendment 1, Amendment 2. Amendment 1 had to do with redistricting. Amendment 2 was about tax-free status for vehicles of, I think, either widowed or spouses.
Widows and veterans. Disabled veterans.
That's right.
With pickup trucks.
Okay, sure. I'm 1,000% sure it wasn't specifically pickup trucks, but fair enough.
Yeah, with 2014 precincts out of 2585 reporting, Amendment 2 passes with 87% of the vote. And right now, with the same number of precincts reporting, Amendment 1, which removes the ability to redistrict away from the General Assembly, is winning with 66% of the vote by a margin of about 500,000 votes. So that's looking likely to pass.
There you go. So, two pretty insular but important results. Something to keep in mind, something to look at. I mean, we're still looking for. We have any more news out of North Carolina or Ohio?
Let me take a look. I'm deep in Virginia at the moment.
Okay. So while we think about that, Deep Row, house philosophy.
Oh, it's definitely not as great as it could be because I'm doing all online classes this semester, and just like a big part of philosophy, especially like the upper level seminars, is that environment where you're like actively engaging in a discussion, and I'm not really getting much of that in my online classes. So, I mean, I'm at least really enjoying some of the readings I'm doing. I'm taking a environmental ethics class right now, and that's might be working up to be like one of my favorite classes I've taken at the university. So definitely really happy about that.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Well, what else y'all want to talk about before? Let me see. I'm going to try to get Zach Perry on, but if he's, I've been waiting on him. What else you guys want to talk about?
I want Deeper to talk about his.
Oh God, yeah. Well, wait. Before we do that, I forgot. Dylan reminded me. We do have a plan segment at least. Everybody has to go through and recite their favorite Trump moments, regardless of if it's good, bad, right, wrong, or indifferent. This past 4 years have been very eventful. So, your favorite Trump moments, please. I'm going to go ahead, since Dylan proposed it. I'm going to let Dylan start. Oh, I just dropped my glasses.
This will take a while.
Yeah, it might. That's all right.
There are so many.
There are a lot.
I mean, God, you have him mimicking a reporter with a physical disability. You have him telling just 3 or 4 days ago that, suburban white women should vote for him because he got their husbands' jobs back.
Please like me, suburban women.
Please like me. You know, but honestly, God. So I'll tell you, the first one of his presidency that I just remember thinking, wow, this was not an act. This was not a character. This was not like all part of some grand scheme to trick dumb people into voting for him, but then be smart in the White House. Was I remember him getting sued over some sort of immigration policy he implemented and suggesting, or outright saying, that the federal judge hearing the case would not be impartial because he was Hispanic.
Oh, yeah.
And in that same week, I remember him also just attacking a federal judge in Hawaii as just some guy on an island. now, Donald Trump has done a lot of very offensive things to basically every demographic. But from a legal perspective, his assault on the judiciary and his assault on the balances of power and the system of checks and balances that our Constitution sets up, which Donald Trump has openly stated he was unfamiliar with and did not like. That might be the most horrifying to me. You can have a guy in there who just says appalling things, but at the end of the day, those are statements that do inflame the passions of other people, but they're still words.
Do they inflame the passions?
Which is why he's not a real conservative either.
Of course,
a real conservative, it not only respects that political process and the rules of the game and the establishment of the game, but they love it. You know what I mean? That's part of the doctrine. That's part of the genius of the American Constitution as well.
Let me give a shout out to my boy. I'm sorry, but I gotta give Eric. I try to shout people out when they interact with us. I want to give a shout out to, y'all might get offended, I don't care, my boy Vanilla Negro. He knows who he is. He knows I got love for him. Apparently, referring to rapper Lil Pump as Lil Pimp. That's funny. Just wanted to shout that out. Yeah.
All right, so my favorite Trump moments are when he said he talked to the president of Hawaii. That was a while ago, but that was
a good one.
That was fucking hilarious. I thought that was priceless. And then the more recent one, this is the most recent one. I don't want to harp on it because tonight should not be about him. Tonight should be about fuck him. But where
hashtag fuck Trump.
He is on.
Check it out on my Instagram.
He was on 60 Minutes, and they're like, yeah, and you weren't wearing a mask at your rallies, and he said, I was wearing a mask, and he
is funny.
He just bold-faced lied about it. He didn't even care to he very clearly wasn't wearing.
I'd like to go back a good ways to a few Trump classics.
Don't steal my two lines.
Well,
Kanye.
They were pre-presidency. I loved when he got Chris Christie, the man we all wanted to be president, and we thought that would be fun, and now we're like, I don't know about that. When he got that man who was so tough to go picking up McDonald's while he waited on the plane. But that ties into perhaps my favorite Donald Trump quote, that I've never seen a thin person drinking Diet Coke.
Can I cut in for a second?
Please.
Dylan, look at that result. The Kyle Cunningham, Tom Tillis result. Kyle Cunningham is ahead by less than a percentage point, around there. But Biden is ahead with the same amount of votes in by 4 percentage points of Trump. Could that be evidence of a break of moderate Republicans who like Tom Tillis, who by all accounts, shout out Dan, loves Tom Tillis, who are done with Trump and vote Biden on the presidential
right,
ticket?
Maybe, because North Carolina's a little weird. Because you have Roy Cooper running for governor for re-election, and he's expected to win by about 10 points. Mm-hmm. You have the presidential race where it's really tight, like maximum 3-point leads. Excuse me. And then you have the Senate race between Cal Cunningham and incumbent Tom Tillis.
Mhm.
And if you look at that, you have Cal Cunningham historically running about 6 to 7, 8 points ahead.
Right.
But what some of you may not know is that Cal Cunningham a few weeks ago, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, he had a sex scandal where he was having an affair and a bunch of inappropriate texts came out about that affair that was happening right at that time. And that is expected to hurt him quite a bit in a more conservative state like North Carolina, even though it would hurt him pretty much anywhere. So what I think that might represent is some of the Republicans, because what we expect is the presidential race to be the closest, the Senate race to be the next closest, and the governor's race to be a blowout. But if the Senate race is closer than the president race, what I think that represents in my eyes is some of the people who were willing to cross over party lines to vote for Cunningham and Biden, abandoning Cunningham, but not abandoning Biden. So I think that's a fairly good
It's more of
sign.
an indictment against Cunningham than it is.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Not to mention that Cunningham is still in the lead.
That's
And then in that same regard, though, you gotta remember the state parties and the national parties, while they interact a lot, they do exist sort of in isolation to each other as well. It's not a communist system, despite what Republicans believe about the Democrats. But it's not a communist system where it all like the national party is telling what the local parties to do. Doesn't work that way.
There you go. Ethan, did you have, Deepro, we're going to call you what your mama named you. Deepro, do you have a favorite Trump moment? Because I got
Honestly, I've tried to forget most of the things that have happened in the news past 4 years. But what comes to mind is actually before his presidency when he hosted a WWE tournament.
Not joking.
Or like he like opened, I think it was before he was elected when he like hosted a WWE match. And
oh Lord, yeah.
I just think it's incredible that 'cause I feel like WWE more than anything is close to the American spirit. And I feel like it's only fitting that a future president would be hosting a WWE match.
I've never seen a WWE fight, but I don't care to.
It's
don't be a
not
hater,
about the fighting.
Dylan.
It's never about
I'm not a hater. If that's what you want to do,
do not disrespect WWE. All right.
I may not be a hater.
It's basically
but I won't
taken
respect
over.
it.
It's basically taken over for Broadway. That's where all the theatrics happen. That's where all the stuff
well,
So I got a
are fighting
reverse
words.
question then. What's everybody's favorite
my
Biden?
moment. No, I didn't do my moment, damn it.
Oh, do your Trump moment.
I got 3, motherfucker.
All right, pick your.
I got number 1. Rebel, you ought to know this. We're gonna take coal and we're gonna clean it. Call it clean coal. That's number 1 OG.
I'm pretty sure it's a Senate hearing. I'm pretty sure this.
No, it wasn't. He was on the campaign trail in 2016, but it was so fucking funny. I'll never forget it.
Coal
for as long as I live.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
But I just came across a very interesting tidbit.
Okay.
That I think is really important.
The extra stuff. And while you do that, Zach Perry's will come in.
And this applies to all those people who were mad in 2016 or any other election where people voted third party. I think about 2 to 3% voted for Johnson, 1% voted for
Jill Stein.
So, maybe up to 4%. That's very significant in states where you have 70,000 votes.
Right.
What I'm seeing now is from the exit polls, Biden is winning a substantial majority of people who either went third party or, probably more important, did not vote in 2016. Now, why is that important? Well, third party is a small percentage, but it has an effect. But if we're looking at all the projections for what we expect in this election at the end of the day, is that we're going to have a record turnout of about 30 million plus people from 2016. If Biden's winning even 51% of that vote, or if he's winning 60, 70% of the vote, as exit polls may suggest, he wins.
There you go.
I mean, there's no overcoming that deficit. I mean, that's 30 million new votes. And if whoever wins, that's the prize.
Right.
Yeah,
Those votes are coming from somewhere.
there are 30 million new votes because they're protest votes against Trump.
I agree.
And, you know,
Trump.
Well, I think there are two main
your favorite Trump moment, man.
Okay, fine. Okay, number 2. I did clean code. We're gonna take code, we're gonna clean it. Okay, number 2, and I know y'all gonna get mad, but I'm a fat person, so I can laugh at this. I've never seen a skinny person drinking Diet Coke.
Oh, he wanted mine.
That is still funny. I don't care what y'all say. That's funny to me.
And what is his favorite drink?
Actually, what is his favorite?
It's Diet Coke.
It's Diet Coke. So yeah,
it's what he orders with his. Have y'all seen his McDonald's order?
No. What is it?
Oh, let me pull it up.
Well, pull it up. My third favorite moment is I know he said better not, but if you grew up black like I grew up black, see, I've been black for a long time, and when I grew up black, whenever you heard "ben not," meant you get ready to get your ass kicked if you don't respond correctly to what I got to say. So when he folded his arms like a little 12-year-old and said, "North Korea better not launch no nuclear weapons," I said, what does Trump know about black parenting?
Okay, so that might be the best Trump moment right there.
Those are my 3 favorites. And
then, I didn't even
Dylan's going to tell you his McDonald's order, and then we got to introduce Zach, who's been in the bottom corner.
So this is fundamentally important to that tweet about Diet Coke. I mean, as a preface, I want everyone to remember that Donald Trump constantly flouts his health. That he is the healthiest man to ever serve as president. Far healthier than Barack Obama or Teddy Roosevelt or JFK. You know, they were fat asses. President Trump has been known to place an order from McDonald's for 2 Filet-O-Fish sandwiches. That's not even good.
That's the worst one.
No, that means you're old and have like health issues. That's not for people. That is not for people that have great.
I am barely halfway through this order.
Well, also puts a steak like medium, or isn't it?
Saeed is right. That Trump does believe that exercise.
He does.
Yes, he thinks
this is also where we need to bring Saeed in here at some point.
Right?
Talk about exercise.
So,
exercise because can we give my man his Jabari has lost a lot of weight. Jabari has slimmed down.
Don't put me on blast. Don't put me on blast.
Okay. Guys. I gotta finish this so I can go get our food downstairs.
Oh yeah, because I
want to eat. So we got 2 Filet-Fish sandwiches. Terrible. 2 Big Macs. Large fries. A chocolate milkshake. But worry not. Worry not.
He got the buttermilk.
He orders with all of that, which I must assume comes in at least 2 bags.
Oh, the McFlurry.
No, he gets a chocolate milkshake.
Oh,
he gets a Diet Coke.
Weak.
So he's counting calories, just not the right calories.
Oh god.
Okay, so he gets the 2 Filet-O-Fish and then the 2 Big Macs, like he's ordering for himself. Like
that is correct. That is all for him. 4 individual sandwiches.
He's smoking.
He's not smoking. That's the thing. He doesn't smoke or drink. Remember?
But he eats 2 Filet-O-Fish, then 2 Big Macs.
Yeah.
You gotta be on something.
You could feed a whole family, man.
We of the Fat People delegation want to be able to eat and eat freely.
I'll be back at True American. Okay. He exemplifies the American dream.
All right, so guys,
Diet Coke.
Zach, I want you in on this too.
Favorite
Biden moment. This we did the favorite Trump moment. You know, I'm not the most enthusiastic Biden person, but Sleepy Joe's got some funny shit out there too. I think my favorite Biden moment is when he said, he was trying to read the preamble of the Declaration of Independence. He's like, we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created, you know the thing.
You know the thing.
Yeah. It's a toss-up between the stuttering and the mildly inappropriate touching for me.
That's fair.
Which I don't even know. How far back are we going? We going when he was vice president? We going when he was just...
He's got some funny vice president moments.
Yikes.
I like his current campaign trail now because, like, you know, he's at the forefront, so there's more moments. I know Deepro's got a good moment.
But is he better or worse than Bush, like the Bushisms? That's the thing. Is at least Bush, like
Bushisms are
nothing will ever top being intimate with your OBGYN. Like that takes the cake for me.
No, it's terrorists work around the clock to kill us, and we do too. That's
favorite
the quote.
My favorite from Bush is when he like made this intimidating message. He's like, we're gonna take on the Middle East. We're gonna make sure they pay for what we did. And then the camera zooms out, and then he's on golfing. He's like playing golf, and he says, "Now watch this drive." And then
I did see that.
No, but the thing is, he said they're gonna pay for what we did.
Right. That's right. Okay, Rebel, now you can shout me out. You put me on blast, so go ahead, put me on blast again.
Hey, Jabari has been putting work in the gym.
I work.
I have, you see, I'm a very hands-off guy. I get subliminal messages in you. I don't convert you. I let my aura do the work for me, And so Jabari, after hanging out with me for years, knowing that weightlifting's my thing. It's always been for the past 5 years, it's literally been my everything. And so it rubbed off on him. And so come closer to the camera, Bishop. Come closer. Give us that smile, man. Give us that smile.
That's so weird.
Let's see it, man. Come on.
What you want me to do? You want me to do a dance?
Yeah, do a little circle around. Come on. Yeah,
Jesus.
see, look at him. He's looking good. So yeah. So shout out to Bari for real.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bari.
Y'all over here, y'all keep chirping me about my health, so I got healthier, relatively speaking.
Hey, it's very obvious. It's very obvious, man. You look good. You look happier.
I feel better. I do feel better. It's mostly about making sure I can beat Sam in one-on-one. He's probably not even watching.
Hey, I'll never forget when a homeboy, my racist RA from freshman year.
Oh, bed sheet? We call him bed sheet.
We'll call him bed sheet. But whatever the case is, I'll never forget when he saw Jabari jump in the air and catch a football, and this man's face. And Jabari was trying to quit smoking cigarettes at that time. So he was smoking the shorts, you know what I mean? And he jumped in the air, caught a football, and this dude, bedsheet, literally was like, I didn't know you could move like that, Jabari. I was like, man, that's fucked up.
Let me tell you something about fat people bias. Let me tell you. Y'all stop laughing in the background. Y'all know I work best with the audience. Fat people bias, this is how fat people bias works. When people will look at you and they'll be like, yeah, you big. And you can't move. They assume that you can't move because you're large. I've been big all of my life, but I can run some people down. I've been able to run routes. I played basketball, football. I played a whole bunch of stuff. But people just see how big you are and they assume, oh, you big. You can't do nothing. And so I got tired of that a little bit. That was a little bit of my motivation for slimming down. But that's just that. And Nebraska is insisting I shout this out, so fine. I don't even think this is a real thing, but I'm sure I'm going to get trolled for even bringing this up. Colorado Proposition, where are my glasses? I can't see. Colorado Proposition 114 to reintroduce gray wolves to Western Colorado is razor thin in favor of the wolves, with 50.6% for 49.4% against, at 48% of the vote reported. And he put an exclamation point next to it so that we would see. So Nebraska, I did that for you. I really don't track that stuff. I do want to point out though that Donald Trump is slowly starting to come back in Ohio. Looks like it's now within a percentage point difference with 64% of the vote they're reporting. So
He's climbing up in Georgia right now too. Like
well, I'm not worried about that. I think Georgia's going to be close, period. Georgia's going to be close, period.
No, but he's raised up significantly.
So,
yeah, but it's going to be close in Georgia, but I think he can still pull it off.
So we have a question.
Yes, there is a question on the
from one of our very loyal followers, Angela Lamb.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I want to give a shout out to her because she was one of the OGs who's been there the entire time for this stream, and I missed her.
Here's the lounge.
Oh, 6th floor. Just go right up the elevator. So, 你好, Jimmy.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
他是我的朋友. So her question is, what happens to the ballots that are received after tonight by absentee mail?
It depends on where you live.
And that's exactly right. Some states require it to have been received by 5 p.m. or midnight or noon today. But other states, particularly some of the most notable swing states, I think the longest range is North Carolina, will accept them for a while. And mostly that's set up for the military, that people fighting in Afghanistan or Iraq or just stationed abroad in general need some more time for their ballots to arrive. So North Carolina, I think, has the latest date, which is November 12th. If it's received by November 12th, it will be counted. So what you might see is in some of these states, if they're really close, you might have fights over those military ballots or those absentee ballots that were just submitted by the public, because there's no distinction between those deadlines in most states.
And to give you all a heart attack, remember, the Postal Service was famously overreported as being incompetent and slow. And I just want to say, those reports were exactly right, because the federal court had to step in today and rule that by 3 p.m. today, they had to start a sweep of post offices across the country to look for ballots, because hundreds of thousands of ballots were sent out and never sent back in. And there were many thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe near, I don't want to pull a Trump and just pull a number out. But there were so many ballots that were sent out and not brought back that there's questions about where these ballots are, and a lot of them are just sitting in vats at the post office unaccounted for.
Also, Angela, thank you for your question, and as promised, I love you.
Oh, that's nice.
There's a big issue with the whole ballots getting lost, and then, well, I'm glad a federal, when was this? They ruled this today. I didn't even see this.
This was fresh off the presses today.
Well, so we know federal courts are working right now, working real hard on this, but it's really clear that was going to be an issue from the onset of the mail-in voting during the pandemic. You see the Trump spending more than any other president, but then trying to defund the USPS, and then while also
sorry, go ahead.
While also doing that, though, the need for the USPS increased dramatically, right? So it's one, we talked about election tampering and election fraud. That was his whole thing. He is a big contributing factor to election manipulation right now, which is a testament to him trying to delegitimize the electoral process. But then even on top of that, it's
we'll leave that. Well, that's fair. I got an alert that Ilhan Omar's results might be in. For all those people who are interested in that, I'm sure she won, and indeed she did. Right now, it's 76% reporting. The Associated Press can announce that Ilhan Omar won. That's 65% of the vote there.
States, but I'll come back to that.
And counting. So just keep that in mind. For those of you all who are more inclined to follow along with her. And Alabama and all of them just projected for Trump. No surprise there. But go ahead, Rebecca.
Deepro, tell me your Biden moment, then I know you got to head out.
Oh, shoot. Was it what I was texting you earlier?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He was so Biden was getting ready for this big like rhetorical moment in one of his speeches. Like he was gonna say something and get the crowd to go crazy, and he was saying like, we choose the good over the bad. We choose justice over injustice. And then he ends it by saying, we choose truth over facts.
That's right.
And
That's right. This is hard.
I don't know, it just got to me.
He was rambling today at a press conference. They asked him about, I think they just asked him like, what would you say if Trump contested the election? And he just started murmuring on and on about black people in Delaware. And I just laughed. I'm so excited. I want that. I cannot wait for the old man stories. Y'all know how old people just talk like me.
Oh, he's got good stories, man.
And talk.
He'll tell you about Corn Pop back in the day.
Corn Pop.
His
go around the corner, and I remember this one time, and this bishop from around the way, he laid hands. You gotta hear all these stories. Like, I'm fine with that.
He also challenged him to a push-up competition. If you guys remember that, the guy was like asked Biden a health question. He said, "You want to question my fitness? Come up here. Let's do some push-ups." He him push-ups right now. I was like, "Oh shit, he's not playing."
No, he's not. So, fellas, let's do this. I want to give Zach more ball. I know Depro has to go, and I'm hungry, and I need to eat. So we're going to take a quick, let's say, 5, 10, 15-minute break, and we will reconvene right after these short messages from your local ABC station. I don't know. We're not syndicated. I don't know. We'll be right back. That's all we're saying, okay? So y'all stay with me. Y'all stay on the line, and we will see y'all in a few minutes, okay? Bye.
Are we staying in the call or what's up?
Well, I guess I was about to head out.
All right, later, Deep Bro.
Nice seeing y'all. Take care.
Nice meeting you.
Yep. See you.
I guess Jabari left. I don't know. Jabari, where are you at?
I'm pretty sure the live stream is.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, the live stream's still going, dude.
Yeah, I know it's still going. They'll be all right. We got a few people there hanging out. They know we gotta eat, we gotta drink, we gotta.
They can hang out with us.
They can hang out. I gotta give a shout out to Sam Blakely. I just lied. Hold on. Let me turn my camera on to do this problem. Sam Blakely has been doing this the whole time. Give God praise for him. Who, when hearing of my weight loss journey, of which he's more than well aware of, I said specifically that I'm doing it so I can beat him in basketball. I do for purposes of clarity. I think there's a rule of, what is it? The balance rule or whatever. He said, I'm going to beat you by 16 now. You promise people that you're going to beat me in basketball. Boo, I don't want to break. I'm enjoying your show tonight. Good work. So I want to give him a special shout out. Thank you, Sam, for watching this whole time. And all those who have been
Jabari's got a nicer shot than you.
What?
Sam.
Oh, my Lord. He lied.
Jabari's got an iller shot.
He said,
Jabari got an iller shot. You just got it because you a little smaller right now, bro. But wait on my man, Jabari, you know.
You fucked up, Rebel, because literally the second you said that, Sam said, I've been watching since DJ Rebel was spitting lines. So he was there. He was there. He was shouting you out. He was watching you. He said Rebel getting 50 now. So yeah, y'all, I'm gonna take a break. Let's all take a break. You can mute your camera, whatever you gotta do. Yeah, mute your camera and cut off your sound. We'll be right back at 5 and 10. Did you just say beautiful shot?
No, I said I'll take some shots.
Yeah, please do that. We'll be right back after these messages, okay? Bye.
perceive. They love to doubt your hustle when you receive degrees. I don't ball, I juggle, bitch, I'm discreet in me. A chief from a rip, at least that's how it seems. A phenom, got my weight up, now the team's strong like the weed strong. Bygone could never be gone. March it all ended, still in quarantine. October all different and life ain't boring me. You could smell the tree, hear aromas, still ignoring me. Couple eons, I'll be the king. Name on every street, I called it quits. The glitz and glam isn't who I am. A sample from the past like Alchemist. Or Sam I am the man. Boyhood got a better stance. My boy's good, cause I am the man, I am the man. Boyhood got a better stance. I am the man. Tape started, called it Rumpelstilts. They knew me as a rebel, level any skill, name changes. Same pick, just the frames angled. Push through the white headphones, got my bangs tangled. Hair long like a methanol, homie share a bond, any call, bitch I'll set it off. Want smoke? I am the cause, fire I alarm. Landmine, you a different lawn, authentic every song. What I envisioned is a sire on his throne. Just a breeze, but my home's kinda arm. Lost a lot of friends cause of crooked drama. Things I wouldn't mend cause my wicked mantra. Like owning up to flaws and pondering your conduct. Growing up some balls, stop your claws and dunking on your problems. People hella trash so they sent to spam. Working on my grass, bitch, I been the man. Boyhood got a dance.
This dude.
Look at your neighbor and say, woo!
Woo! Oh, I ain't got no neighbor here.
Hold on.
My neighbor's got a Trump sign, so I'm trying to say boo.
Well, where'd Zach go? It's a long night, y'all. You gotta understand that. It's gonna be a long night.
What time are we going until?
Whew, I don't know. I was hoping to have some of these states called, but it looks like we don't quite yet.
It's gonna be a hot man. So,
Zach, what you drinking?
I am drinking out of this nice Key Largo coffee mug, and it is a mix of pink lemonade with UV blue because I hate myself. So that's where we're at tonight. You know, solidarity for the Democratic Party that's about to just be absolutely demolished. So, cheers.
That's exactly the positivity that we need right now.
Well, so I'm looking forward to Texas potentially turning blue. That's kind of what I'm like in terms of excitement. And I want to see whether or not Ted Cruz comes out of hiding as a Zodiac killer and starts killing people. Like, if that happens, is that how the apocalypse starts? Is that Ted Cruz just gets awoken as a sleeper serial killer again? Is that how this happens? The first dark horse of the end times. Jabari, you're into that shit, right? You believe in God.
I do believe in God. Is this the preaching hour now?
Yes, we are. We are now at that point in the evening.
I'm a little tired, but I'm gonna try. I need the Holy Ghost.
All right, open the book of Revelations.
Go to the book of. I do believe in God. That eschatology is a very complex thing. I don't really. I really don't get into that kind of stuff, to be honest with you. That's not something I lay awake at night doing. Other people are really into it. They love studying Revelation.
That was my favorite.
I was never really into it. I like the epistles. I really spent a lot of time reading like Romans and Corinthians and letter to the Ephesians and that kind of stuff. I guess that's soteriology. Shout out Cam Bonzo, who's also not watching. So yeah, I was into that.
What still boggles my brain is how much of Trump's base are evangelicals, despite the fact that he is one of the most godless men on the face of the planet. And it's just this very strange dissonance between the base and the man that they've decided to rally behind. Like, it's almost self-fulfilling of the Antichrist. Like, if they're really going to interpret it literally, that's how I would imagine the situation.
I love that you brought this up, Zach. I love that you brought up the evangelical base that supports Trump, right? Because this goes back to what we're talking about. How do we define conservatism?
Right.
And while Trump himself he's not a real conservative.
Sure.
He has been able to pull on what has already been established as the conservative movement. And largely the evangelical Christians have been tagged to that since really Ronald Reagan, since a little bit before him too.
Sure.
And yeah, that's exactly right. But also evangelicals don't necessarily look for a God figure in their president.
No, they do like the iconoclast, which I think is what makes him so appealing and enticing. That he bucks the system.
You're right, but I'm gonna call a spade a spade. They also like him because of the racism.
Oh yeah, I mean they also hate gay people, so we're in good company there.
Exactly, that's why they like him. In terms of him, but they were already connected. You know what I mean? They were already connected.
You're right.
Well, I mean, it's very weird how Christianity, particularly America's form of Christianity, has been used as sort of this ideological, sort of apologetic work for racism. And so it's not, I mean, it's
historically,
weird.
It was the biggest movement against slavery. And
Christianity?
Yeah, back in the day.
Well, yes, yes and no. I mean, you have to look at like the
TK was
whole
pretty racist.
twisted, right? You have to look at the twisted theology of the story of Ham, for instance.
I'm saying the abolitionists, the strongest abolitionists from the jump, were largely
Quakers.
pulling on Christianity.
Sure, but you had the opposite. Is also
Yeah, you
true.
had the exact opposite. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I'm not denying that, but I'm saying abolitionism has its roots in Christianity as well. We talk about nuance, you know.
But my next point is that what ended up happening is once we moved past slavery, a lot of the tenets of the old, I guess, quote unquote evangelical, even though technically wasn't a thing back then, roots of Christianity started to materialize themselves in things like the National Baptist Convention, which were notably anti-integration, who were pro Jim Crow, and weren't too fond of black people. And so you see historically throughout this country, this wedding of God, guns, and country all being used to further white supremacy. And so while it is on its surface, like if we look very clumsily, very, I guess, superficially, you know, it seems weird that Trump would be so closely tied to these evangelicals. I guess we really shouldn't be that surprised at all. So, yeah.
As a student of history, I will say I am not very surprised. Period.
I mean, look at Joel Osteen and all these like mega church, basically pseudo corporations that are able to just brainwash thousands of people into like televangelists. I think it's just a fascinating realm of indoctrination that is spewing all of this kind of disinformation about like, oh, these people are attacking our principles and they're coming for your jobs and your livelihood and they're ruining the sanctity of marriage and all this other stuff. So I definitely get where it's coming from. It's a little ironic to me.
But is it really ironic? Because if you think about it, Trump and evangelicals and, well, televangelists, as you're talking about, their medium for attention, or rather their tactic for attention, is exactly the same, which is sensationalism, right?
Sure.
They're all sensational characters that depend on sensationalism for whatever mantra or platform they're trying to uphold.
Yeah. And I would extend that by just saying, even looking at it from a literal scriptural standpoint, like I was raised conservative, like Baptist, like very, very right wing. And the preaching about the Antichrist coming, where like Obama, that was a huge point of like spin from the Republican Party. Obama was the Antichrist.
Yep.
And now that Trump is basically their savior figure, if you look at the actual scriptures of Revelation, the false prophet comes first. So if they took it a little bit more literally, it would make almost seem like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I don't know if that makes me more of a believer then, to be like, well, this seems true. So I guess Jesus is coming back. Like if that's what it takes. And that's what a lot of actually very, very like devout Christians have started to purport, is like, well, this is the end times. Like I'm excited about it because it's supposed to be the coming of Christ again. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess.
Yeah. I like how we just moved on to religion, like very subtly.
We're not talking about religion. We're talking about evangelism. It's literally at that point, it's not necessarily like religious doctrine. It's almost, it's like branding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I do want to say to the point about mega churches, though. That's basically what happens when capitalism meets the church. And I mean, being a black person, I like to think that I'm pretty well versed in how mega churches came to be in our communities. And it seems to me that it took advantage of the vacuum that the civil rights movement and its, some might even go as far as to say abortion of the civil rights movement after King's death. It took advantage of that vacuum. And, instead of coalescing around the values of, some sort of collectivist effort to achieve equality, we just have this, well, everybody needs to get theirs. And this perversion of the gospel into one of being a gospel of wealth. as a crude and bastardized sacrifice for the progress that they tried so hard to achieve and weren't able to through the beginning of the 60s and toward the end. And like it's capitalism needing the church is not, I mean, you ask me, it's not God's will, but I'm sure there's some evangelicals who hear that and lose their minds, but it is what it is.
I feel like the Catholics would differ.
Really?
That's just me. I don't know. The Catholic Church is one of the richest entities on the face of the planet.
As I was raised Catholic, my dad's Muslim, but my mom's Catholic, and I was largely raised Catholic. And literally, well, in terms of the Catholic size, some of the largest issue area in the broader Catholic movement is always abortion.
Sure.
It's always abortion. That's their like bread and butter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you know where they'll go. But then there are also, like, just as in any other denomination, there are cherry pickers. And then those are the left-leaning Catholics. But in just the Catholic, in the male Catholic mindset, it's very sexist still, and very patriarchal it's a very patriarchal type of denomination. So in that regard, I guess a lot of Catholics may have been more inclined to vote towards Trump before, as opposed to voting for Hillary as the leader. But maybe it's different now. You know what I mean? Maybe they see Biden and they're like, oh.
Yeah, I'm not entirely convinced that Biden is actually going to be this like savior and
I don't know if that was ever the point of convincing anybody. I've seen hashtag settle 2020 as something they're promoting, and that's
what we're doing.
Is this the part where we get to shit on Gen Z? Because I kind of want to do that because I feel like they are frothing at the mouth to basically be like, well, he's not left enough. But I mean, there is a practical.
Aren't we all Gen Z?
Oh, ooh, no, I'm a millennial.
I am a millennial.
Jabbar, what fucking year are you born?
1975.
That's true. I can vouch for that. Cheers.
Bitch, you 96?
1975.
Shut up, bitch.
I want to say, I do have some bad news that y'all can shit on the Gen Z. Donald Trump won Florida, looks like. That looks like that will be an apparent victory. So, we have projected victories, which is we take a representative sample of the votes that are in and we project based on that.
Trump seems to have wrapped up Ohio too.
Yeah, that's fine. But, the key thing, I want to mention this with Florida, not to scare anybody, but he won Florida by 4. Joe Biden was winning Florida by, let's say, 1-2, if not, statistical ties coming into the election. So I'm not trying to trigger us all and plunge us all down into deja vu moment, but
so I want to push back on Ohio though, because if you look at the actual map, the reporting is only 63%. I mean, so what source are you pulling from? Because that also
that was just CNN. They said about 70%. The thing is, what's Ohio doing with their early votes?
So I've been looking at the New York Times, the failing New York Times.
I have New York Times, Guardian, and Washington Post all open. So I just kind of keep flipping back and forth. You know what I mean?
So absentee, it says 30% of counties are counted, favoring mostly Biden. And if you look at the map too, generally in terms of what the input is, it's the major cities like Cleveland, Toledo, Columbus, Dayton, Cincinnati are only reporting about 60% besides like Athens, which, okay. So I feel like it's still a battleground state that's viable, but I mean, this shit won't be called until at least next week.
No, I agree. And especially remember we mentioned it earlier. I don't know if you were watching, Zach, but we don't know the scope to which we're expecting the We don't know the scale of which the lost ballots are going to affect things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember y'all talking about that.
Yeah, the scope will vary everywhere, and that's something that we spend just in general. I feel like our approach, me and Jabari's approach on how we talk about things on podcasts, it's recognizing that things are never cut clear, simple with one paintbrush. You know what I mean?
Sure.
There's a lot of unclear answers.
Well, glimmer of hope, North Carolina still hella close.
Who?
Yeah, no. I think North Carolina's going blue, man.
Oh yeah, that's exciting. And it looks like New Mexico and Arizona are pretty blue too, which is kind of back to where things are in the before times.
Because if you look at it, so it on here, let me go from the Guardian.
Nebraska says that I am Gen Z. I am not.
Yeah, Jabari, what fucking year are you born?
Yeah, if you're
1996.
So he's
you're 96.
Yeah.
So 95 to 97 are like cuspers.
No, I'm a millennial. I'd rather be a millennial than a Gen Z.
You would rather be a millennial, not that you are a millennial. You'd rather be a millennial.
All right, because I'm 98, right? And I was told I was a millennial my whole life until last year when I learned Gen Z was a fucking thing.
Yeah.
And I'm
saying, no, y'all are these all worse.
People cannot put me in random generation that I didn't sign up to be in. Like, and so yeah, nah. But yo, you could shit on Gen Z all you want, man. Gen Z has it coming. They're annoying as shit.
I mean, millennials aren't exactly faultless, but I feel like the main thing that I have an issue with is like this lack of grace and compassion that happens with a lot of, and I don't think millennials were as bad. Granted, I'm biased, but the notion of like cancel culture. So people that flat out refuse to vote because Biden's too problematic. And I'm like, that's a problem.
Brought it up.
We're all flawed. We all have issues. Like no one's perfect. We need to get past that.
No, we got a controversial guest here. I completely agree, man. I completely agree.
I mean,
well, Jabari's canceled, so I guess it's the exception.
Why am I canceled? Why would I be canceled?
I don't know, because you wear suspenders and you like those old man glasses. That's a good enough reason.
Look, when your eyes get tired,
you know we have a homie that we need to cancel, but
Bedsheet?
Not Bedsheet. Bedsheet been canceled, bro. Bedsheet. Yo, Bedsheet.
Zach, guess why we call it Bedsheet?
Am I allowed to say it on live on YouTube? Is that?
I mean, it's up to you. I can't bleep you.
I don't want to be that scapegoat, so I'm gonna let y'all.
He's a fucking clan racist.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like Ralph Northam kind of Bedsheet?
No, like racist, but like, all right, I guess Ralph Northam racist, but see, Ralph Northam got called out and is trying to do something to prove against it. Homeboy got called out and he just cried and accepted it.
Ooh, well.
Jabari straight up told this dude, like, logically that he is a racist, and homeboy started crying.
Hey, how much I wonder if he's watching. I doubt it, but if he is, shout out to Bedsheet. He knows who.
What up, Bedsheet?
Oh, Lord.
Hey, nothing wrong with a Bedsheet. I got some more news to report.
Wait, where's Dylan at, though? Where'd Dylan go?
See, we are having a socially distant gathering. So when we were up here doing the podcast, it was just Dylan and I. But as more people came down, we split up. So I'm up here by myself right now. Dylan will come up when he feels like it. Hopefully he won't be too drunk. And then
I don't drunk hot takes.
Oh Lord.
We can't do this. The colored pages push as many boundaries. I will pull the plug when necessary.
Oh, stop it! You won't. No. I'm
that plug.
I'm the EP on this motherfucker.
EP.
Man,
I'm the EP
on your
on
executive production, man. You ain't Hove. You ain't Hove.
You want to bet?
You ain't Hove.
I want to talk. Let me see. What else?
Well, I mostly asked about Dylan because I feel like we had similar journeys to where like I used to be real right wing Republican, and he was pretty Republican beforehand too. Whereas now he's still probably more right than I am.
Well, we talked. I don't know if you heard, like, we had that conversation about what conservatism is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know how to classify Dylan, and I wish, I think he calls himself a Republican, but hearing him talk about it, it's like, I don't know.
I would classify him as like an Eisenhower Republican of sorts.
Sure.
So like
That's
a true
Republican. A big state Republican.
Yeah.
Announcement. CNN projects New Mexico will go to Joe Biden. I mean,
why are we using that as a source?
You see why I put New Mexico as a toss-up as well?
No, it wasn't close because it's not going to be close. New Mexico, we weren't really. That's why I can cite CNN for this particular.
Why? Because the Hispanic vote? Is that the main reason?
No, because I mean that state was never in doubt. I mean, I'm sure.
Oh, it's Arizona that's the one that's a toss-up. I feel like.
Right,
yeah.
Right. See, I'm not racist.
I'm not racist.
Right. That's bed sheet.
So what's the reason why Arizona? So what are the demographics of Arizona? Actually, I don't even know.
So here's the story behind Arizona, and I want to give a shout out to John Dickerson from CBS as if he's watching. They did a really good story on 60 Minutes. I want to say
You literally are a 6-year-old man.
What's wrong with 60 Minutes? You young people, you don't like nothing. You don't like
that's
nothing.
the most Gen Z shit I've ever heard somebody say. We watch 60 Minutes.
You watch 60 Minutes?
Yes. Don't you dare diss 60 Minutes.
Okay.
Okay, but anyway, so what's happening, the largest county in Arizona is Maricopa. Maricopa was carried by Trump in large part because, I mean, obviously it's traditionally a Republican state.
Sure.
But what we've been seeing over these past few months is a large part of the Republicans there who are well-educated, upper middle class, are leaving Trump by the droves. They're done with him. And they're bullying Joe Biden's his prospects there. So you combine that with the demographics of Arizona, you get the swing state that we have now. And we add in factors of turnout, who's coming out, how many people are coming out to vote, the early vote that's being counted early, that should have results for us at some point within the next hour or so that we can project. Yeah, I mean, we'll be good. I have, let me see, I have some comments in the chat. My boy Nebraska. I might have to get Nebraska in here too.
Yes, Nebraska.
Yeah, you got to get Nebraska. He says Arizona's looking really good for Biden right now. Saeed says having conversations where you have to help people realize they're racist are the best. Amen to that. So yeah, amen to that.
Amen, light.
Nebraska, message me so I can get you in here. But yeah, that's the story behind Arizona being a sweet.
Is he actually from Nebraska, or are you just saying that?
No, he's from Nebraska.
Where?
Nebraska
like
from Nebraska.
Omaha? Where? Lincoln?
Omaha.
Nice.
Omaha. Yeah. Y'all didn't see that.
Come on, cornhead. Is that racist? Did I just make a racist comment?
Nah, dude. He's 20. It's different.
Okay. Nebraska, now you really got to get in here. Because we have to tell the I'm 20 story to the people.
The I'm 20 story is too good. And I don't think Nebraska liked it. I don't think he liked it.
Oh, my Lord.
So are we basically predicting that Pennsylvania's going to flip or nah?
That is the question. So there are several paths, obviously, to 270. There is a path, and Trump looks to be on it. I'm going to be honest with you. With his win in Florida right now, remember those were 3 states, or 4 states, I guess. Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Florida. Georgia is taking fucking forever. Florida's we can already project that as being Republican.
Right.
North Carolina is as much of a toss-up as toss-up can be. So we are on this path where if Trump can hold on to North Carolina, as he's held on to Florida, if he can hold on to Georgia as well, then the election does come down to Pennsylvania. And that is kind of a shit spot for Democrats to be in.
It's the worst spot.
I don't think it's the worst spot because early voting there was great, but we had some legal queries about when ballots had to be in, and we had the whole.
It's gonna run into Supreme Court cases.
And we would rather not have that. So
exactly, especially given Miss Amy.
We can talk about Amy Coney Barrett.
Oh, Amy Coney Barrett.
Well, shout out to Nebraska. Nebraska says he can't podcast. He's on the call with his relatives. But he does say that he is 25 for Bill. He's 25 now.
25? He's 25. Dude, times changed.
Times have changed.
Times have changed. Hey, all I'm saying, Michael Jackson was still tap dead. Come on. Come on.
Even though he's dead, he'd still tap it.
This is the story. Tell him the story, Rebel.
All right, so we're chilling in Pack House. Like me and Jabari are doing our same 2016, 2017 vibe. Like it's just different. It's a different era. We basically had a podcast, but you had to be in the room. That was the you know what I mean? Like
gotcha.
That's what 2016 was. But Nebraska comes out into the main room. And we're talking about Michael Jackson or something. And then somebody's talking about Michael Jackson or something. And it talks about Michael Jackson being interested in things cute or something.
Hello again.
And then while doing that,
Mr. Jabari Lucas.
Sorry, y'all. Y'all keep talking. I got people.
That's good. But basically,
we socially distant.
Somehow in that whole thing, it mentions that if Michael Jackson had done what he had allegedly had done, he would be interested in Nebraska as well.
Oh, God.
And Nebraska says, what? I'm
20. And we were so confused.
He's standing in the doorway, holding the door frame like this. Hanging on the door frame. He goes, I'm 20. And oh my God, the hoot and hollering. I may not have laughed that hard in my life.
I mean, I remember I'm 20 and I was just so confused. What does being 20 have to do with this? And he had to explain it.
There was no context.
I would have seen it as a pedophile thing because Michael Jackson was a pedophile.
Right.
Yeah, but he didn't provide any of that. He just said, I'm 20.
I'm 20.
I brought one.
That was great. Nebraska. Shout out to you, man.
You brought whiskey.
Oh my God. Nebraska says I went to Catholic school and Michael Jackson has to get in line. So that's where we're at.
All right. What a night.
Pretty much. All right, we got people who are making a conga line into the socially distant kitchen. So why don't we have people stand in the camera frame and say hello to the people at home?
I'll say hello to the people at home.
I'm standing right here.
Ooh, guest star.
You really want this guy?
Yeah, this is Esteban. Say hello to the people, Esteban. It's in the camera.
Hello, people.
That's Esteban. Did y'all just finish tab?
Yes.
Good. That's Trial Advocacy Board. That's where the young lawyers learn how not to be Sixth Amendment issues. That's good.
Did we learn?
He laughed at the fact of learning or the idea of learning. Yes. Okay. All right. We're keeping an eye on still Arizona, which is looking good for Biden apparently.
Arizona's apparently a lock.
Really?
Yeah.
Dylan is saying
it looks like a lot.
Arizona is a lot.
His Maricopa lead is probably insurmountable.
Okay, so again, Maricopa County, we talked about that earlier. Maricopa County is huge, hugely important county. It's the largest one in Arizona for obvious reasons. If you carry that, you pretty much carry the state, depending on the size of your lead. Biden appears to have a lead there that's insurmountable. So that's one. So you take that out of Trump's path to 270. And what are you left with? Dylan, come in the camera and tell the people what they're left with.
What are we left with?
What are you left with if you take the path? If you take Arizona,
It's basically
out of the
Pennsylvania,
path,
right? I think it's Pennsylvania.
It comes down to Pennsylvania, and it comes down. He has to hold North Carolina. If he swaps Pennsylvania for North Carolina,
So I'm going off of memory, but Donald Trump, I think, won 306 electoral votes in 2016. Arizona's 11.
Yeah.
So that puts him down at a ceiling of 295 if he's unable to expand his map, which seems quite likely.
Yeah. So okay.
He loses North Carolina, that puts him at 280.
Yeah.
He loses Wisconsin, that puts him at 270.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to win Wisconsin. So if you take Wisconsin off of his 270 map, so that
and nothing we're hearing from Pennsylvania matters because they don't start counting till today.
Yeah.
North Carolina won't be done until November 12th.
But we'll get it. I think
Not a lot of
value.
value.
Idea of North
It's exactly what we were all talking about earlier. That Trump doesn't change the pure
I asked this one, I was like, do you think there's going to be an election drinking game?
Sorry.
There we go.
What?
I do have
It's just real loud.
Yes, loud. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Wait, so are we basically saying that Wisconsin and Michigan are like lost causes?
No.
New York Times just reported that he won Missouri.
No, but like Michigan and Wisconsin though.
Whatever it was that y'all.
In case you thought that New Hampshire was going red this year, it is not.
Well, see, that's significant because Donald Trump put it on his list of states to expand into.
Oh, that's funny.
I'll be up in a minute.
Okay. So Dylan says it's significant because Donald Trump was aiming at that as a possible state to expand his coalition into.
I mean, I think that was the closest state that Hillary Clinton won.
I don't know. Huh?
I think that was the closest state that Hillary Clinton won.
Oh, well.
So.
Hey, look at that. Hey, Nebraska, shout out to you. Nebraska, 3 of its 5 electoral votes. You can put that in Trump's column. Shout out Nebraska. So, we're waiting on, North Carolina, like Dylan said, their law allows ballots to be received via absentee mail-in up until the 12th, I believe. So, we won't get the final results, but I believe, based on the turnout that we had and the fact that, did they get an early jump on their voting? On tallying their votes at least, their mail-in?
North Carolina?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, we'll see with North Carolina. We'll just have to see. But right now, the returns that we have, it's tight. So, Arizona's pretty much a lock for Joe Biden. That's good news. We'll see what that does for Trump's path to 270. Probably makes it significantly harder without a Wisconsin or Pennsylvania to fall back on. So, or North Carolina to fall back on. So,
we have
don't be discouraged.
We have a weird scenario where Donald Trump is going to lose Arizona, but probably win Florida.
Yeah, that is.
And I don't know what your takeaway from that is.
I don't.
Florida needs
The takeaway is it's 2020, and to explain that, we need a little bit more time.
I guess. As I brought up while you were down there, I was like, the fact that Donald Trump won Florida by so much, like they had him winning by 4 to 5 percentage points when Biden was polling within, 1 to 2 percentage points.
Well, technically, no one has actually called Florida yet.
But they have 99 or 90% of the vote.
They have 91.
Right, but I'm not really clear why they haven't called it, but there must be some reason.
Dude, I bet you.
I guess it's Trump wins Florida, but I'm guessing.
I think it's the absentee ballot.
They're calling Minnesota at like 40%.
Who are they calling Minnesota?
Or not Minnesota, Missouri at about 40%. They're calling.
No offense.
Yeah. But oh well. All right, I gotta head out because it's a work day and I'm an educator, so I work at a school, so my day starts early.
Gotcha.
In that vein, how late are we planning on going? Because
I was hoping to have some of these critical swing states and their results in. Pennsylvania swore to CNN at like 4:00 today that they'd be finished by tonight, and that does not look.
Okay,
good.
that was just
not look like that at all.
I don't know why they just lied.
Have you ever been to Pennsylvania? There's no way they're going to count like.
Pennsylvania's at
votes
32% of estimated votes reported.
So what I do want to wait on is I want to see what's going on with finish what's going on with North Carolina. We'll see what happens with Georgia, and because Georgia should be finished by tonight again, because they've been counting, and all their votes had to be in by today. So I mean, I think we can get to that result.
North Carolina?
No, Georgia.
Oh yes.
So we should be able to see it by tonight. And I want to see what happens.
I believe the expectation is Georgia will be most done tonight, but that it'll take a lot more than tonight.
Okay, so we'll see.
Oh, hey, Armin.
I'm losing faith in Georgia.
Who? Is Armin in?
Armin's in here. What's up, Armin?
Hold on. Let me get there.
Armin Kya, or Kwa, or how the heck you pronounce his last name?
Yes. What's up, man? All right, so guys, I'm gonna have to tune out.
That's all right.
Call, but I'll probably be in the chat on the YouTube.
Sounds good.
So keep up the good dialogue.
All right, see, they're doing a good job with this. They're saying, they're saying the Democrats have 243.
Where's Armin?
North Carolina is exactly tied right now.
I think it's time that we abandon the South and just stop paying attention to it.
Bye, y'all.
I mean, North Carolina might work out, but the tea leaves don't suggest that really we're going to get anything big out of the South. Texas, Georgia,
Okay,
Florida.
so let's discuss that.
So maybe let's look at the Rust Belt a little more.
So let's discuss.
Yeah, Michigan, Wisconsin, I feel like are like interesting battleground states.
Well, let's
that was the whole reason for Biden to be nominated.
Okay, well, I guess we could screen share then. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let's discuss what happens if you have. Let's see. Screen.
Ooh, come on, Tux.
I know, right? High school me was actually not ugly.
No, debatable.
Huh?
Debatable.
High school me was actually not that ugly. Now, what happened after that, I can't account for.
He grew 50 years.
I did. I aged 50 years in 2 days. Okay, so let's imagine, like, all of this is red, right? Okay, so all
you
of
gotta
this.
change Michigan, Wisconsin, though.
Okay, let's make these swings. So what happens? I mean,
That leaves us what?
Neck and neck.
244?
Yeah, 245 to 2. I mean, I guess let's take the second out for a second. Sorry to
Not to be finicky, we can't also assume Maine second.
Maine second?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's bad. If you give away the South,
you should take Michigan off.
Yeah, Michigan. You just added Michigan again.
It's about tied. No, you gotta take it. It's about tied.
So again,
It's 3 states. We love that elections are decided by 3 states.
So, I mean, this is around the time of year where we start crying, we should move to the popular vote. And I mean, it's hard to argue that we shouldn't at this point. But I mean,
Because haven't the Democrats technically won every single election since like 1996?
they've won the popular vote 5 out of 6 times.
Yeah.
Since Clinton. I mean, and CNN has a similar thing to what we have. Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin are the 3 states.
I feel like Pennsylvania will definitely go. I don't know about Ohio. Also is pretty up for grabs.
No, not really.
I feel like Wisconsin and Michigan are going to go red, though.
I don't agree about Ohio.
I think we're preparing ourselves. I'm preparing ourselves. I can't prepare another person. I'm preparing me for another miracle for Trump. I'm just saying. If we concede the South, according to our premise, it is not a good sign that we have to lean on states that historically have not really done well, at least within recent history for the Democrats. I mean, Don't be surprised. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I got okay. Armin is saying the electoral college is a good idea. Let me get another guest in here. I still got Zach in here, who's gonna cry with me very shortly. Let me get Armin in the Armin Facebook message me or something. I can send you the invite link. Okay. But yeah, it's pretty much a huge problem if we can see the South, which is something I don't want to do, right? I mean, we'll see. Anyway, how are you dealing with things as the California polls, I think, are ready to close, so we can put those 5 things in the column, or those 55 electoral votes in the column. How are you dealing with things? Zach. Yeah.
I don't know. I was a little bit more optimistic earlier just because I thought that, like, especially Florida was going to be more of a battleground, but here we are.
Well, I mean, if there's one thing liberals ought to learn about Florida, is to just don't count on it, ever. Don't count on Florida, ever. They're just sort of a lost leader. So, but yes, I get that. I get the invitation. Oh, Armin is on standby to work. That's right, because he actually has a real adult job.
So the interactive map that I just played with, where I put Pennsylvania and Ohio as blue, but North Carolina, Michigan, and Wisconsin, Biden will literally get 270 at that point. Like, that's where we're at.
Biden will get what, according to
270 exactly if he gets Ohio and Pennsylvania, but loses North Carolina, Michigan, and Wisconsin.
I don't think he can win Ohio, so
I wouldn't rule it out.
I give him a shot.
I would give Ohio more than I would give Wisconsin or Michigan.
Okay, well, we'll see. I mean, I guess we can look at some polls. I mean, why not?
Look at Quinnipiac, the most accurate pollster in America, Biden up 4.
And on Ohio?
Ohio.
Okay. Let's see.
So the only reason I say that is because, yeah, now it's a 7-point differential, but you're still waiting on Cleveland, Toledo, Columbus, and Dayton that are only reporting about 70 to 80% of their results. Actually, Toledo is only reporting 50. So that's enough to where it could put Biden back on the map.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not like super optimistic, but I definitely feel like, I mean, look at how Wisconsin and Michigan are looking now. Like it's pretty bleak.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not focused on Wisconsin or Michigan. I know with the early voting and the fact that they really haven't had much of their votes counted yet, I'm not really worried about that. I'm sure that'll flood. But
I definitely feel like Biden will win Pennsylvania, though. That seems pretty standard to me. But I mean, Trump won last year, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Or last time.
Yeah. I mean, we can look at some Ohio polls together, I guess, or some Ohio election results. As the chat sort of winds down on the YouTubes. Let's see.
Yeah, North Carolina is super, super close.
North Carolina's a coin flip right now. And keep in mind, in 2008, Obama won North Carolina by 0.2 percentage points.
So even if Biden wins North Carolina but loses Ohio, that's not enough to put him on the map.
Well, I mean, I think if Joe Biden, my path to 270 that I projected at the beginning was I wrote off Ohio. I've written off Ohio since I was surprised Hillary lost by 8 percentage points in Ohio in 2016. And I think that the demographics have shifted so much. There's been a weird sort of like reverse migration in this country where a lot of population centers have been dispersing south. So like in areas up north and in the Midwest are becoming a little wider, and areas in the south have become a little more diverse. And so that has a tendency to make states like Iowa and Ohio, which may have been more swing states, a few years ago, a few elections ago. Now they lean red a little bit. So I say all that to say I've written Ohio off, and I think if he took North Carolina, regardless of whether or not he won Ohio as well, it put him in a better position.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's all about taking away states that Trump thought, or had been able to count on in 2016.
Do we know at all what Congress is going to look like, though? Because I feel like that at least will swing blue. So it'll be kind of a stalemate because I don't know if the Senate's going to be taken back by the Democrats, but I mean, the House is definitely going to still stay blue.
Well,
I feel like Biden will win the popular vote again.
I mean, let's see. For a long time, funny enough, the only race that was projected was the Virginia Senate race between Mark Warner and Daniel Gay, which Mark Warner won handedly. So I thought that was funny. I think that's pretty indicative of where the Republican Party or where the Democratic Party is in this state. Okay, this is some very confusing stuff here. Mitch McConnell holds his seat. I mean, there were hopes among people on the left that he would lose. Tommy Tuberville won over Doug Jones. Remember, Doug Jones was the guy who went head-to-head with the pedophile in the special.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, in the election to replace Jeff Sessions. So Tommy Tuberville won. So they flipped that seat. So that's minus for the Democrats. Lindsey Graham, unfortunately, they projected out that he will beat Jamie Harrison. Jamie Harrison shattered the record for the most amount of money raised in one fundraising quarter for a Senate candidate, and he couldn't translate that money into votes. That's for all you Citizens United people out there. I'm not shading you. I'm just saying money doesn't always equal votes. Let's be honest. I mean, the last two, well, really, yeah. The last two out of the past three elections, the candidate who was outspent and outraised won. So, speaking for the presidency, obviously, when you move down the ticket, money can have a slightly larger impact.
What is your position on Citizen or United versus,
Well, I mean, remember, you're asking a pseudo-intellectual and aspiring lawyer, but as a pseudo-intellectual and aspiring lawyer, I think it's a legal issue. And the legal issue is corporate personhood, specifically the standing of a company to sue to defend its rights, whether or not it can have such rights to begin with. And I think the court has made clear on several occasions before Citizens United that obviously...
Freaking, 13th, 14th, 15th amendments pretty much solidified that one.
Well, yeah, exactly. So the court made clear several times that companies are persons insofar as they have standing to sue and be sued, and that they have some semblance of First Amendment rights. They've been abridged, like in the big instance of, Virginia bans on advertising for tobacco companies, for example. And they've been limited in some circumstances. But for the large part, the consensus of, I guess, binding law on this issue is that corporations do have those rights that require some degree of strict scrutiny to protect it from undue infringement. So if you take all of that, you do the math, the analysis seems to lean on the side of, striking down kind of what happened, ending aggregate spending limits for individuals spending on behalf of themselves, banning aggregate limits in terms of contributions in general. You might want to ban, you might want to limit the amount of money you can give to one candidate, but we can't just ban the amount of money people want to spend.
Right, the difference between PACs, super PACs, and all that. Yeah.
Right, and what we're finding is that yes, all of that money in politics could have the illusion. I'll pick my word more, discerningly. it could have it could have the appearance of impropriety, but in practice, it doesn't really seem money doesn't seem to have as much of an impact as people think it does. I mean, money is only necessary insofar as like you're on the lowest of the lowest rung on the ticket, and you have to get your name out there. People have no idea who the fuck you are.
Right.
Once you clear that hurdle of name recognition and you have some sort of traction, then money is just sort of icing on the cake. It helps you.
That's why the incumbency factor is also a huge thing, where the clout is already built into the office that they're assuming. So, I mean, I agree on a certain degree, but I still think it's like certain price caps should be, because I mean, I don't buy the whole like, oh, individual liberties should be extended towards corporations. One, because it's culpability is hard to prove, and two,
well, that's the philosopher you try to
shocker.
To things.
But the other thing is like there also are other limitations for individuals and how they can operate in general. So why not make it monetarily as well? But that's also like kind of the socialist in me.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
We love that redistribution of wealth. Yeah. Also, just because it is starting to get a little late, and I also have work in the morning because I work in education as well. I'm probably going to peace out soon. But is there any like last little thing that you wanted to discuss, or any shout outs that are going on? Is the feed dead?
I mean, I think the feed is dead, and I think that's for good reason. People are tired. I'm getting tired. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm not like optimistic. I'm not excited about anything.
Well, that's fair. I think what we could do, surprise, California, we could project for Joe Biden. So for all of you people who are counting it on your map, you can go ahead and put that in its column. Anyway, but yeah, I think we're all tired. I think we all should just enjoy the night, get some rest, and hope for a good result in the morning. But it looks like right now, to give a quick recap, and then I think we'll both sign off for now.
That's good.
We're looking at Arizona, although I think Arizona is pretty much done. We're looking at mainly North Carolina. We're looking at Georgia. We're looking at Michigan, Wisconsin. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin look to be the three.
Ohio.
Case. They think Joe can pull off Ohio. I don't trust Ohio no more. But I mean, that's fair. I mean, sure, the numbers say it's theoretically possible. It's theoretically possible. We learned about writing things off last time. So I mean, there are lots of states still out there, but it looks like the path you can see. That's how it always. That's how it always happens on election night. Is we start out, the path's narrow. It looks like it's going to come down to, with Joe Biden getting Arizona and Trump holding on to Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Those are the 5 states we're looking at. And Georgia, we should know by the end of the night. We should know. Big emphasis on should. Wisconsin, we might know by the end of the night. Pennsylvania, they think that we're going to know, but we're not going to know. So we're looking at those states. And it'll be a lot closer, I think, than people thought it would be. But that's okay, because we did this once before and we are experienced. So we know how not to get depressed, I would hope.
One can hope.
Exactly. All right, Zach, unless you have anything else, I'm going to let you go.
I'm good. You did a fabulous job, and I'm glad to be here on board. Definitely let me know the next time you have another little chit-chat.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it won't be one of me crying.
Oh, no. Don't cry. It's not worth the tears.
It is a little bit, though.
Oh, well, I mean, not now. Just in private.
Hey, that's fair. Just in private.
All right. Well, sounds good.
Let you go, bud. Good to see you.
See you. Like.
So, what we'll do now for you all who are still watching, because you're kind and gracious, I'm going to take a quick break. Matter of fact, I might take a 2-minute break. If I come back and people are still on, we'll interact. But Until then, I'm gonna drink a little bit, lay down, maybe get some sleep. Rest my eyes. Rest my eyes. Then we'll come back and we'll see if anything changes. But until then, I'll see y'all. Okay.
Been me, you can never change it, life outrageous. Mama want me counting acres with a property. Stuck in my box, feel like Monopoly, no bouncing payments. Mama's banking taught me flawless caking. Now I teach kids how to read, perceive. They love to doubt your hustle when you receive degrees. I don't ball, I juggle, bitch, I'm discreet and me. A G from a rip, at least that's how it seems. A phenom, got my weight up, now the team's strong, like the weed strong. Bygone could never be gone. March it all ended, still in quarantine. October all different and life ain't boring me. You could smell the tree, hear aromas, still ignoring me. Couple eons, I'll be the king. Name on every street, I called it quits. The glitz and glam isn't who I am. A sample from the past like Alchemist. Or Sam I am the man. Boyhood got a better stance. My boy's good, cause I am the man, I am the man. Boyhood got a better stance. My boy's good, cause I am the man. Tape started, called it Rumpelstilts. They knew me as a rebel, level any skill, name changes. Same pick, just the frames angled. Push through the wire headphones, got my bangs tangled. Hair long like a methanol, homie share a bond, any call, bitch I'll set it off. Want smoke? I am the cause, fire I alarm. Landmine, you a different lawn, authentic every song. What I envisioned is a sire on his throne. Just a breeze, but my home's kinda arm. Lost a lot of friends cause of crooked drama. Things I wouldn't mend cause my wicked mantra. Like owning up to flaws and pondering your conduct. Growing up some balls, stop your claws and dunking on your problems. People hella trash so they sent to spam. Working on my grass, bitch, I've been the man. Boyhood got a better stance. My boy's good cause I am the man, I am the man. Boyhood got a better stance. My boy's good cause I am the man. Boy's good cause I am the man.
Education is free.
shit is wild like I'm Tarzan. I don't smoke pot, I beat rappers up with frying pans. Too aggressive, but let me send this message. I get really vexed when I get a verse less than 30 seconds. Maybe I'm just picky, such a pecking pheasant. You're a fucking peasant, now go out and fucking fetch it. I could give you lessons on being reckless. A horrible profession, maybe is what I'm destined. I ain't got many decimals. Man, that's really bull, cause I've been working like an animal. But goddamn, a man don't get shit if he leave it to beaver. Just like students never study when they smoke a sativa. Man, light it up. I roll a Dutch, then I run amok. Only time you in the house is when you in a rut. My shit is fire like petroleum. Don't be so nosy, hun. I'm only bagging just to dispose of them. You get bread when you really buns. Guess I should drop some shit like I got the runs, or rap about materials like I'm rich and got the funds. But then I'll get shunned, and y'all won't get sunned. And I Vader with no saber, just words, vape and paper, leave my marks with the labor. I'll hurt you like a sadist. Outrageous is my cadence, and I'm louder than my fragrance. In a decade, be the greatest. Place your bets like we in Vegas. Oh, whoa, I'm positive you'll get negated. Oh, whoa, the tape is closed like negated. Oh, whoa, like what David did, got really stoned. Shut the casket, actors up, call me Holmes, cause I slaved the show. Master chef, the way I eat the pussy, call me Wolfgang, fuck. Master boosting, now masturbation, I've been cooped up. Ain't get no pussy when I grew up. I'm a Jedi master, while Luke's a fucking Jedi bastard. Just riding solo with my blaster, then I just got some Chewie after. Wookie, sacking my fucking Star Wars. Back when Molly went by Hannah M, and I saw the titties was uncalled for. Coming bitch like a wrecking ball with my testicles in a joint roll, call it raw porn. She like my smell rockin' Hawthorne. We make a film, get the popcorn. Round two more like an encore. I'm on what? Let's go. Ha, used to be a fucking soft boy back when I was just a sophomore. Now boy, he's a big dog, got the salty bitches sitting all fours. All eyes on me, I'm an outlaw. Matter of fact, I am the counselor. Big as a butcher's bouncer, no doubt bruh, let's get it. Ha, went from a little man, I was ticked off like the minute hands, stuck between two like a middleman. Now I've been finding my thrill again, nailing the points I be drilling in. Dilla beats got me diligent, and I'm in a trance, and she did a dance in her underpants. No wonder man, you a blunder man, I'm the thunder man. Matter of fact, I am a Pikachu, need to think about it like Aretha do. Top 10, I could beat a few, yeah they sleeping on me, sick of hitting snooze. I'll roll an L, but I'll never lose. I've been baking, letting bread accrue. Told the world I'd be the best, kill every beat like a cigarette. Working at it till I see a check, till I bounce out, then we'll see what's next. Yeah, so we'll see what's next, yeah. Last one. No worries, cause I'm dope though. Eyes red, I need road toes. I'm at the window seat, rocking no clothes. Bitch, I'm Poco Loco like I'm Coco, yeah. Bitch, I'm Poco Loco like I'm Coco, yeah.
The first sensation you'll feel will be physical. A new tingling of some sort. A band of light pressure around your...
Just hold up, man. I told you, don't spark that shit yet. Just wait. I got 15 minutes. Let me finish, and then we'll do it. Alright, fine. Just fucking spark it. This that old shit, meticulous, process like kosher. I'm so blessed, modern like 80 in HD focus. I got that drip osmosis, no evidence I'm culprit. Got your bitch, she so wet, I'm the one she noticed. She got that lake, I'm COVID. I pull up late, she want me. Her other dude a chronic, all about that capital. Told that bitch I'm Pisces, now she screaming holy mackerel. Says she want my dick, but before we making noise. I'm such a whore, I'm coming after you. I'm a caregiver. Herbal remedies, medicinal, a rare figure, top tier. Smoking pressure under duress, and so bitch it's hot here. No COVID, it's that strawberry cough on my cock that make your bitch cough here. I'm about to drop my music bump like a back knot. I was a have-not, now I am a master. I bloom like a cash crop growing from the black top. Bars over your head like hands up. You sparked that shit already? Yo, I swear I heard the lighter. How is that shit not sparked already? Yo, I've literally been sitting here like rapping and working, and that shit still isn't ready. Like, I could have spit a whole nother verse. Like, what the fuck? Alright, fine. Leave that shit running. Leave it running. I just got a spark. Auto drive like I couldn't park. They fiend for smoke but scared for life when I'm coming so harsh. I bought that bitch a new ass. I call her Bubba Sparks. She like me brown like her hash or like her maker's mark. Fucking white widows, puffin' white widow while I write riddles. Iron might vision, beat your ass cause I like rhythm. I divide schisms, prophesize mission. See my eyes glisten, smoking right, you'll see the price difference. Bitch, we smoking exotic. I don't get it, I got it. I'm just like Snoop on the Chronic. They couldn't see me without it, and so they deem me iconic. This fucking tree is neurotic. I'm blowing steams with the Sonic. She want my dogs like I'm Sonic, hedging hogs like I'm Sonic. She like my songs cause the Sonics. I guess the moment is on it. She threw the cuffs and I dodge it. I play to win, so don't pause it. Everything that I posit gon' make me linger and comment. So who's the one that can stop me? That shit ready yet? Yo, give me the fucking weed, man. What the fuck?
Many people, even Methodists, find that after smoking for hours, particularly with good grass, they'll still feel no effect the first 2 or 3 times. For them, we recommend needlepoint, weightlifting, or any of the other traditional methods of reaching nirvana.
I can lift 347 pounds over my head, but still, nobody likes me.
It's been a minute since I really enjoyed being alive. Pray for penance, got my sister and my mama at my side. Stuck at home, ain't see my friends and I can't take back what's mine. Getting tired, brain too wired from the pacing inside. Glasses fixed up on my nose and finger pointed at the sky. I turned 21 last month and I ain't still by no wine. I stay glued up to my phone and I still can't tell the time. I'm the one behind the beats, but now I step out to rhyme. Ain't producers one myself, but I give shouts out to Mike. I made a choice to stay at home and now I'm paying the price. Paying the price. I made a choice to stay at home and now I'm paying the price.
Yeah. Thought I paid the price, staying home, praying every night. Thought I had a wife, she left me, had to puke, but I didn't gripe. Bitch, I paid the price, even though it cost me half my wage. Thought I'd be flossing in an apartment cause I had the grades. Little did I know I owe a debt. Paid a fee, got a degree, but basically won't ready yet. Whipping down through Chop, where they getty at. I hit up Turp and here we perch with that heady pack. Bitch, I paid the price. Gave my rights to get away from the dating life, but here I am again, single like the wood in my hand. Bitch don't like my lingo, think we cooler as friends. Got trouble with plutonics. Rubble been admonished, always lived in private. Petty problems come from gossip. Scribbled in my notebook, I feel like I'm Gosling. Cause when I spit it with no hook, deep bro think that it's awesome. I really do. Last 4 years with a bitch that was rotten. Never gave me head, but always led with her noggin. Bitch grinding my gears, made me feel like a coggus. Now I'm focused on cheese, trying to buy me a cottage. I gave my soul to a hoe that was so ungrateful. Still love her to my core, don't let my noise mistake you. She kicked it with my boys when it was all at Lakeview. The price too much, don't let it bubble and tank you. I paid it full, bitch. You keep the change.
Cause you and me,
Education is freedom. Is freedom work.
I can see through all your bullshit, so no way we can mesh. Always treat my folks like fam, how you treat them like guests. Family only. I've been moving weight, even counting my reps. But when I say it from my chest, I ain't talking about pecs. Like when I claim to be the best, I ain't barking a flex. Smallest in the room, but I'm a talkative kid. Cause my music been some loud, yours the price of some mids. I don't even write, but still was nice as a kid. Got bigger from eating rice, cooking bison and shit. Pockets on swole like I need ice on the shit. Though my necklace only gold, now the dimes can all sense that I'm a male fop. No ring, they know bells hot. I give them cock while you acting like a male crotch. They like to knock like they dropping in my mailbox. I'm at a notch, say it's top, but I don't deal props. Ain't a movie director, but I live in a film. I don't answer the beckons, I'm chilling with the guild. I'm a build, an architect living up in the field. Watch what I will, the polished wallet is all that I will. Since 15 and 21-3, you want smoke? I get it gunky, I'm grade A, you couldn't flunk me. I like to ball from a distance, these bitches bunting. Giving slices to women, you thinking it's lunch meat. I'm a right swipe, buzzing like a bumble date night. But at this rate, it's the pace to get the pay right. Getting blazed, so I'ma take flight. I know my name, let it ring like an Zane right. Oh God, I guess I've never been the tank type. I've been a mess, but ain't a thing to get the place white. It ain't a thing.